And I'm live now. Yay. Will had like a stream before because Todd had a stream. So you know what? Fuck it. I might as well have a stream too, and just people can come in and talk and do whatever for a while. Uh, okay, talking after togs. By the way, did you notice? Did you notice that my name has been shortened?
Oh, no, because I wasn't paying that much attention to chat.
Yeah, I called. Well, I for some reason YouTube hasn't updated it yet. I don't know. But if you go to Google, I'm known as Goddess Athena, rather than Athena's Goddess of Wisdom and Warfare, right?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I shortened it. I shortened it. Old Dean paid me like $15 to change it to shorten it. He's like, "Hey, I'll give you $15 if you shorten it." I'm like, "Okay."
My super munchkin has been spoiling me lately. She's such a sweetheart. The other
Okay.
day, she overheard me talking that my favorite book by this particular author was gone, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't remember like who I was pretty sure I lent it to somebody, but I couldn't remember who, and I was very upset. Anyway, she overheard that conversation, and then a few days passed, and she gets a box from Amazon, which I'm quite used to. She has her own money to spend, you know. And so she's like, "Mom, come open this box with me," and it's the book.
Nice.
And then yesterday she bought me dinner. Today she's bringing me a milkshake. I don't know what she's trying to butter me up for, but she's doing a really good job.
I don't know. I don't know. She's probably like, "Hey, Ma, I got something to tell you. I'm dating someone. Who is it? You might not
I
have."
already know who she's dating.
Oh well. Okay, I was making a joke then
Yeah,
too.
I'm just kidding.
He's trying to butter
She's
you
just
up too.
no, she's actually just being really sweet because I went overboard at the last event we went to, and I bought her all kinds of little gifts. Like I'd be like, "Oh my god, I saw this and it reminded me of you," and she'd be like, "I love it," and then I'd come with something else, and she'd be like, "Why do you keep doing this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." and and she goes to camp later this week. She'll be gone for 15 days, so I think she's just trying to. And then when she gets back, I have plans to spoil her some more. So I think she's just kind of like getting some in where she can. She's such a sweetheart.
Nice.
Yeah. I say spoil each other. We do little things. Like I'll take her out and do something, or she'll take me out and do something. I don't know why. We just do. She finished her class that was due August 5th.
Oh, okay, Hillary, what the hell are you doing? Hillary. Okay, I guess he's ignoring me. Okay, but keep talking. I gotta handle something. Uh,
Oh, Pixie, I did want to ask
Yes.
you, ever seen the original 1970 Battlestar Galactica? Any of them?
Do wait, you cut out for have I ever something Battlestar Galactica.
Have you seen the original 1970s
Oh,
Battlestar Galactica?
I have not.
Beats.
That's worth a
Although
watch.
I might have seen pieces of it. I don't remember it if I have. Like, but don't quote me on that because my dad used to watch
Battlestar
a lot of that
Galactica.
old stuff, and I used to watch a lot of that old stuff with him. Like one time, somebody was like, "Have you ever seen the old Twilight Zone?" And I was like, "No." And then they got me to watch a couple episodes, and I was like, "Oh, I remember this." And then the next episode, this happens, and they're like, "You said you never seen it," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't know I'd seen it. I'm sorry." So I don't think I've seen it, but don't
Okay,
I?
fair.
That's it's questionable.
G'day to all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Thanks.
See what I did?
Good to see
Big Mac.
you. Big Mac, you know all of it.
Hey, Mac.
I'm about to board. I'm in Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
No complaints. Just working.
Yeah. Aw.
And working some more.
Right. You know, Battlestar Galactica's like a Mormon thing, like written by Mormons and stuff, and I'm all about that.
I was
Really?
upset. You know, the one that came
Supposedly, I don't know.
after. The one that came after. I was really, really upset that they got canceled so early.
Oh yeah.
Because
Caprica?
it seemed Caprica. Yeah, that one seemed really good.
It's like a
And
prequel.
then but I really liked Firefly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Some of those Mormons are really good writers, though. I will give them that. Like Orson Scott Card, great writer. I don't like him. He's a douchebag, but he's a fantastic writer.
He is. That's true. Better go. This is silly. I love you guys.
Later.
Oh, later, Mac. Have a safe flight.
Indeed.
But yeah, there's a bunch of old shows like that I used to watch. Like, have you ever heard of Buck Rogers in the 24th Century?
Yes. My uncle.
Good show. Good show.
That was one of my uncle's favorites. That one and it's another one I probably only watched because of my uncle or my dad. Probably any Western. Let's see. I think the old Doctor Who I got into because of my dad.
Yeah.
Doctor Who. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was that dude's name that had the long scarf that his grandmother knitted him, and he was a Doctor Who for a long time?
Baker. Tom Baker.
Yeah, Tom
Baker.
Baker.
Tom Baker? Yeah, he was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he the eighth Doctor?
I don't know. I don't know how it fell in there. Because it used to be he could only regenerate so many times, and then they changed that because it got popular again.
Oh, right. I remember the series came back in 2005, and it's been...
With David Tennant.
Yep, that was definitely good. And
actually, David Tennant was my favorite of the new ones.
But no, the first one, what the hell is his name? The first
Eccleston.
Doctor in 2000.
Or was it the second one?
Yeah, he was the second one. Christopher Eccleston was the first.
Was the first one? That's right. So the second one, David Tennant was my favorite in the new one.
Yep. I also liked I also liked the other guy too, David Tennant, and then the other Doctor,
Matt Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, the dude that wore the fez all the time. Fezzes and bow ties.
No, he's cool. I always called him the bow tie guy.
Oh well, that's Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that had Pond that met Amy Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Matt Smith. Yeah, wore the bow tie.
David Tennant was Bad Wolf, right? David Tennant was Bad Wolf with blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rose, I think was her name.
Yeah, Rose. There we go.
Yeah. Mm.
It's weird it was weird to find out that his wife, the one person who knows his name, is Amelia Pond's daughter. It's her and Rory's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that their timelines are backwards.
There was so much tomfuckery in that series, so many plot twists and turns, and I was like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing is,
So
we had
insane.
some, like, I thought that was the case. But the reason I thought that was the case when they kept talking of, when she mentioned that the timelines were backwards was simply because of the name. The name gave it away. And I questioned it because she did not look like she came from Rory and Amelia. But the name gave it a River Song, Melody Pond.
Oh yeah, well that's good. But I really, it really bothered me what happened to them, right? Like with the weeping angels and them getting stuck in like New York City in the 1920s and just
That
dying
was my
there.
favorite episode, The Weeping
It was
Angels.
so yeah, it was so. Mm,
I just thought the concept of the Weeping Angels was fucking great. They can't move until you stop looking at them.
Yeah, Don't Blink.
yep, the
Yeah,
quantum
Wasn't that
locks.
the name of the episode or something? Don't Blink.
Yeah,
I think so. The first one.
the one
Yeah.
where they're introduced, the one where they're first introduced, and the doctor is like stuck in the '60s with I forget her name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yes.
and they like communicated through like videotape and shit. Yeah,
Yep.
it was weird. It was weird, but I liked it.
You know what? I've always loved Doctor Who up until I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while, but from what I've been hearing, it's gotten downhill, especially when you introduced the female Doctor. I loved the female Master. Okay, like Missy,
Oh yeah.
it was just
Well, I
insane.
mean, the female doctor, she's not too bad. It's just they're recycling stories. Well, which is what they always did anyway. But it's just yeah. I mean, she's
True,
not that.
but I think I remember hearing somewhere that the same 7 stories have been recycled for like as long as humans have been alive.
You know, Doctor Who reminds me of the Dark Tower series for an odd reason.
Hmm.
Have either of you read it or finished it?
Not
I've
really.
read. I didn't finish the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower. I think I got like the book 3, and then just stopped for
Oh,
some
well then
reason.
I can't tell you why because it'll ruin things.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh well.
Okay, I'll just say this. You know, the last book, there's a spot where he says, you can stop here knowing this, 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 and this, and this. Or you can continue reading. But if you continue reading, don't say I didn't warn you. If you continue reading, that little section right there, that ending, has a weird tie-in, in my opinion. Or a weird concept that both play with that I think would be really fun to discuss if I find somebody else who knows both.
I think I did hear somewhere that that every one of King's stories kind of goes through the Dark Tower, right? That there's something about.
Everything he has ever written has something to do with the world the Dark Tower is building, right? Like taking place in. Everything he's ever written. You will see hints of it when you read through. For example, Father Callahan from Salem's Lot appears in, I want to say it's Wolves of the Kaya, book number 4. Is it number 4? Anyway, Ted Brodigan from Hearts in Atlantis appears in more than one of the books. If you pay attention, they'll go, Blaine, the talking train, is from another one of his stories. If you pay attention, at one point they go through this like landscape where they see a skeleton. The kid's talking about how like everything looks like the world he's from, but it's not the world he's from. Like Soda had a different name, Cars looked the same but had a different name. If you don't know anything about Stephen King, you won't pick up on it. If you do know about Stephen King, you know they just went through the world the Stand took place in.
Interesting.
Right. So it's like everything he's ever written ties in somehow, except maybe like Shawshank Redemption. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I swear I'm going to one day. Anyway, yeah, he does that weird thing.
I really love Pennywise, and I think he's mentioned in another book. Was it Dreamcatchers or something? He's his name is on a tombstone or something. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I saw the movie. I didn't see the tombstone or read the book.
I don't know. I've read the book, but I don't know that I don't know that I paid attention. I'll have to reread it. I have it. I have Tommy Knockers. Anyway.
Sorry,
it's also why I don't get mad. I am really excited about the Gunslinger shows. I hope they make a new one. They made one movie. I hope they make a next one. I know that everybody was mad, but I don't care. They said, it didn't follow the book, and this is the first time. I'm glad it didn't follow the book. I'm actually excited it's not following the book.
Did the Dead Zone even follow the book?
No, there's a reason. There's actually a perfectly, not only perfectly logical reason not to follow the book. Again, I can't tell you why because it'll ruin the ending. But not only
I've read Gunslinger. I just haven't read it in years.
Right, but I'm talking about the whole. Yeah, but I mean the whole series. But there's a reason. There's not only is there a perfectly logical reason to not follow the book.
He's gonna have me speed run the Dark Tower series just so we can talk about it.
Yeah, but seriously, not only is there a really good reason not to follow the book, but if you are thinking that there's something you can't do right, or you're going to have to take an artistic liberty somewhere, your best option in this case is to not follow the book, because that's only going to add to it for true fans. Because now you have a whole new puzzle to solve in front of you. Same world, same characters, whole new puzzle. But there's a reason why you have a whole new puzzle. And so if they do it right, it's good that they don't follow the book, if they do it right. And so I'm actually excited to see what they do. But the other reason they were mad is because they cast Idris, which I think was a good choice. I think he did well. But, the book describes him as this old, like, Clint Eastwood figure, so that made people mad.
Of course.
Well, Kubrick did that with The Shining. He skimmed the book and was like, okay, I'm going to make a movie kind of out of this, sort of. And he made The Shining with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay. King hated it. King hated it.
Yeah, but there's a reason King supported this time, even though it's not following the books. There's a reason he can support it this time, not following the books, and a reason why he hated The Shining, right? So, even Stephen King is supporting this one, even though it's not following the books. But there's a reason why. But I can't talk about it because you have to get to the end of the books.
Because there's a twist at the end. I don't want to tell you.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, okay, keep your secrets then.
Unless you're never planning to read it. If you were never planning to read it, I would tell you.
I don't have plans right now to. I've got other shit going on.
Are you gonna finish at midnight?
Yeah, I'll try to. I need to see if I can find the books on Kindle. Because I don't know. I had the books somewhere, probably on my mom's house. You know.
Then I will not spoil it then.
Okay, well let's talk about something else then. We're boring the shit out of Midnight's audience. These motherfuckers
Well,
just talk about books all the time.
well, maybe they'll pick up a book.
Oh shit.
I like books a lot.
I used to read all the time as a kid. And when I was in the army, if I wasn't at my duty station, I was reading a book.
I've always been that way. Even when working in the office, I brought a book for break, for like when I had a moment between working with people, like anything. There's a book. Like anytime I have an appointment anywhere, I make sure I have my book. Like it's funny, I go into the doctor's office and everybody's sitting there playing on their phones, and I'm just sitting there with my book. And apparently I've taught my daughter to do the same. She also takes a book.
Well, that's good.
Yes, I agree.
Better than sitting there playing fucking Candy Crush or some dumb shit for an hour.
Exactly. I worry about her being a little high strung sometimes, but other than that, I don't much worry about her. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's really responsible. She does not procrastinate. She finished her summer course in like a little over 2 weeks, I think. AP Government.
Cool.
Books are
Yeah.
not meant for human consumption. Okay, Bond.
Well, you're not supposed to eat them. I mean, shit. But yeah, I have a problem with procrastination. Like I have dishes in the sink that I need to do, and I'm like, I'll just do it later. And I've been saying it for like 3 days.
Oh, I procrastinate. I procrastinate so bad. She does not. I remember one night she stayed up, and I was like, "Are you gonna go to bed?" She's like, "I have to finish this. I have to finish this." And I was like, "Okay." And I was thinking like her project was due the next day or something, right? And I was like, "Okay, finish it." That project sat in my closet for 2 months before she had to turn it in. This summer, she decided to take extra courses so she could fit in, okay, extra AP courses so she could fit in more AP courses next semester. But she still wanted to have a summer, and she cannot stand something being like unfinished and bothering her. So what was supposed to be due by August 5th, she's already done with. She already finished that last week. But she has no procrastination in her. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Unless you tell her to do it. If you tell her to do it, then she no longer wants to do it. It's the only way she's figured out how to procrastinate.
She's like you. She's defiant.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna do the dishes tomorrow, and I'm like, okay. And I know, don't say anything.
Because, don't use it.
Yeah, because her dad will come in and say something, be like, "Are you gonna do the dishes?" And then she'll just look at me and she's like, "No, I don't want to." And she's like, "I have this other thing I need to do." And I'm like, just don't question it. She's hilarious. She either like is all in or she's like not right now.
Huh.
The reason I say don't question it is because she says I'm going to do the dishes, but then she just ends up cleaning. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to bother you. That's usually my job all weekend. At point taken, midnight, she does get her defiance from me.
Nice.
So what were we talking about before?
We were
The
talking
whole-
about how awesome I am.
No, I meant on wheels before.
Oh,
I don't remember what we were talking about before the whole thing happened.
Oh, I went to get beer when JG came in, so I don't even know what that conversation was about.
It was a shit show.
Well, yeah, I came back in and heard the ass end of it, where he was telling Will he needed to study before he could keep up with JG. If you,
Yeah, you need to study before you. Like, you know what? I agree with Pixie. Pretentious, fucking arrogant little. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, that's how it comes across. I don't, I mean,
well, when he talks, he sounds like he uses a very practiced tone of voice.
like rather than monotone, you think it's more measured.
Well, I think it's practiced. He doesn't try to sound excitable ever, and somehow he thinks that's a plus, I guess.
Well, I'm just naturally excitable, and people think that means like I'm triggered or I'm all up in my feelings. And no, I'm just an excitable person. I'm very hyper and theatrical, actually, even in real life.
Well, I mean, you were a theater kid, so I mean, it's understandable.
I still kind of am. And like when I say like I'm really theatrical, I mean like even like expressive, like facial expressions, things like that. Like there are people that have known me for years. They'll look at me weird one day, and I'll be like, "What?" And they'll be like, "I thought I've seen all your faces. Like I haven't seen that one before. What does that one mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What was I saying?" Right? Like I'm just, and I'm real fidgety. I don't stay still well. Like I'm just naturally excitable.
You're also awesome.
Back at you.
Yep. I don't always feel awesome, but hey, you know what? I am. Right back at you.
Who said what now?
Huh? Oh,
Huh?
he said I was awesome, and I said back at you.
Ah, okay.
Wasn't anything aggressive.
Oh. Well, we all are pretty awesome in our own way.
Indeed. Well, most of us. Like, I have clearly stated that I am not the better person here and that I do not love everyone.
I mean, if you've talked to me for longer than 10 minutes, A, you know I'm an asshole. And B, you know I'm not a very nice person. So for you to expect me to act otherwise, that's on you.
No, you're so awesome in my book, Rex.
Well, thank you very much. And so are you, Pete.
You were not included in that list of. You were not one of the people I stopped and hesitated for when I said, well, most of us. It was not you. It wasn't anybody on the panel, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the broader YouTube sphere. And I bet I could prove Bond wrong. I bet if I got Space to whisper read books, he would listen to them endlessly.
I mean, I really do like Space's voice. So, uh,
I also like her voice. She has a very pleasant voice. Bond likes her voice. That's why I said this. She has a very pleasant voice.
yes.
And if I got her to ASMR while reading some books, I'm sure Bond would appreciate books in a whole new way.
Oh, we were talking about that last night. ASMR shit creeps me out. I do not like it. No, thank you. Go whisper in somebody else's ear.
It's the whispering you don't like. The whispering doesn't bother me. To me, it's like the lip smacking and the like wet noises. I can't handle that. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm ready to fight now.
Well, yeah, that, and it's just, I don't know. It's just something about it I find creepy.
I don't know. I grew up on horror movies. I was the weird kid. People thought I was a psycho for a long time. I didn't understand how weird I was until I was much older.
Yep.
Mm.
I guess I'll
For
force myself
example,
to be a test subject for this experiment.
no, I mean I did like my godmother thought it would be cute to get me a Barbie one year, and after my GI Joes declared the giant a traitor and hung her from a tree, I then decided she must star in the opening of Titus Andronicus and proceeded to draw and quarter her. Oh, she also got beheaded for the production, of course. And then there was the time. Oh yeah, we were playing skip. We were playing with we were skip ropes. We were playing with jump ropes, and everybody was singing their little Cinderella rhymes and fuzzy bear rhymes, and I didn't know any of that shit, right? And so I was skipping rope to the only rhyme I could remember, which was 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. So like one time my uncle, his name was Charles and we called him Chuck for short, and he came to pick me up and he got this weird look on his face, and then like he looked absolutely astonished, and then they came and got me, and my uncle was like, what were you talking about at recess? And I was like, with my friends? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, the movie we watched. He's like, what movie? I was like, the little doll with the knife. And he was like, Chucky? And I was like, yeah, Chucky. And apparently the teacher overheard me talking about Chucky and thought I was talking about my uncle. That was a whole issue. I was in like kindergarten, I think.
Wait, you watched Child's Play in kindergarten?
Kindergarten, first grade. Yeah.
Okay.
Like not on
I mean,
like
I
it
was
wasn't.
scared shitless of Chucky when I was younger.
It wasn't like my parents wanted me to watch it. It was one of those, I was flipping through the dials and that's where I decided to stop. And my mom came in and was like, what the hell? And she turned it off. It was like, no, right? But then like I kept doing it and I wasn't having nightmares. So they just let me watch horror movies. I really liked Pet Sematary. That one creeped me out a little bit. Not enough to give me nightmares, but that's the only show I remember watching that creeped me out because Gage was so cute. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a weird person. But I hadn't seen the whole movie. Like I think I'd just seen scenes from it. But I understood that it was all fake. Like I never like associated it with anything real, I guess you'd say. And Super Munchkin's the same way. Like, she would watch horror movies when she was little, but she'd be like, "Do you think that they use latex there, or do you think that they use, like, just randomly talking about nonsense?"
Oh, do you remember the movie? It was from either the earlier mid '80s called Warlock.
Oh
It
my
had
gosh.
it had Julian Sands in it, and he played the Warlock.
Yes. I want
You
to
know,
say, hold on.
IMDb it real quick. You'll recognize the guy. He apparently died suddenly of unknown causes here recently, from what I read.
Okay, if I remember correctly, I want to say the cover, like, is him standing there, but his shadow is like the devil or something.
And there's like lightning on it.
Devil, like,
Yeah.
it's his shadow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one.
Well, apparently the fundamentalist Christians back at that time were going around telling everybody they should not let their kids watch this movie because it will teach them witchcraft.
That doesn't surprise me. That mentality, it still goes around. I remember Super Munchkin was like in, I want to say she was like in third grade, maybe. And like I wasn't very censored growing up, and I didn't want her to be very censored growing up, because I've seen people who had this deal. You can watch movies and horror movies. Oh crap! Hold on, I gotta take this call and then I'll.
Okay.
Okay, they hung up. I'll get the call after I say this. So we had this deal. You can pick out a movie you want to watch. You can watch anything you want to watch, but I have to watch it first. Even if it's rated R, you can watch it, but I have to watch it first so I know where to skip. And that was the only deal we made. So we're watching a horror movie. I think it was a PG-13 horror movie. And this girl comes in the house and to play with Super Munchkin, and she proceeds to tell Super Munchkin that I am inviting demons and devils into our home.
Come on in, sit down, have a beer. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that too, especially back in high school. No, I was the devil back in high school. I didn't worship the devil. I was the devil.
Dance with the devil, Rex. Dance
All right,
with the
be
devil.
right back.
All right. So, Racy Little Lacy Lee, whatever. What are you doing there, Mr. Raccoon Boy? Hello? All right.
I don't know.
Well, I
I
guess
ain't heard
Rex.
nothing out of it in a while. Yeah. So.
Yep. I guess Rex. Why do you drink beer?
Why not?
Well, usually people that drink alcohol are trying to run away from their problems. Then again, that's alcoholics. People like Wild Heart, not people who just enjoy it once in a while. I
Hey,
don't know.
if I get all the shit I need to get done during the day, and then I come home and have a beer, that's my business. I ain't out riding up and down the roads drunk.
No. Or getting blackout drunk to where nothing happens. Wait, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I have got blackout drunk and fell asleep in the chair, but that's about all that happens. I'll wake up later going, "Did I pass out?" Yeah, I passed out. Okay.
I'm in love. Mm. Not really sure what to talk about, honestly. I figured I have this stream after after Williams just to hang out, but the
Well,
VIP left.
she had an important phone call. She had to take.
Yes.
Which one of these non-Marvel superheroes was also able to wield Thor's hammer? Which one of the DC superheroes were able to wield Thor's hammer?
I'm gonna go with Batman. I'm just
Nope.
guessing.
Nope, Batman was one of them, but that's not the right one.
Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It
my
was,
second guess.
yeah, that was the red, white, and blue boy was able to wield it. I don't know. There must have been one of those crossover comics that he did
Yep.
that. Oh, I'm watching. I've got Pawn Stars on mute in the background, and some dude brought in Mjolnir and a replica of Thor's helmet. They look pretty goddamn cool. I'm just telling.
Well, become a millionaire and buy them.
Yeah, I know shit. Yeah, when I win the lottery, I'm gonna get all kinds of cool shit. Even though I don't play.
Just believe you'll win really hard and you'll win eventually.
Yeah, there you go. I've watched a lot of people in my family waste a lot of money on the lottery, and nobody ever won anything big. They'd win like $500, $1,000 here and there, but nowhere near what they spent playing the lottery. So I just don't do it. Oh, hey Bond, if you learned your magic, your witchcraft from Harry Potter, you learned a bunch of gibberish. Well, I know they say you got to be in it to win it, but I need my dollars for other things other than a pipe dream. Like keep the power on, keep the phone and the internet on. My brisket is in the freezer, and I will cook it later.
Yes.
So, hands off my brisket.
No. Okay, you know what? I wanna play a video. Hang on.
Go ahead. Your
Yep,
channel?
give me a sec. Yep. Present, screen share. This. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, hello there.
Things I wish I would have known before dating a trans woman. Number one, this girl is every bit of a woman, and then some. Think of her as that Happy Meal with the extra special toy that you haven't played with yet. Number two, you say, hey, Adam, I've already got that toy to play with myself. Why would we need a second toy to play with at the same time? Did we need a second Ace Ventura Pet Detective movie? Did the Chappelle Show need a second season? Did we really need to clone Kanye West to make a second? That's a bad example. But moral of the story is, good things come in twos. Number three, You ever have one of those nights where you want to have a little bit of fun, but your schlonga chimichanga doesn't want to show up to the big game? Well, who better to understand than a woman who has dealt with those same complications? So now when she says, "Oh, it's okay, babe, it looks cute," you know she's coming from a place of empathy and not pity. Number 4. No, this does not make you gay. Listen, this is a little bit different than those sleepovers you and your bros used to have when you were younger. That was a little gay. Being with a woman of any kind means every part of her is feminine. And while I can't fully explain it, that feminine energy is the hottest thing in the world. You'll figure everything else out later. Number 5. This is a woman, and a very powerful woman, that's been through a lot to work towards a body and image that she identifies as. So if you want a conversation with sustenance, and not just a conversation about the avocado toast she had earlier, spend some time with a trans woman, and you'll meet one of the most beautiful women you've ever met. So follow me for more dating advice with some of the most beautiful women in the world. 5 things I
Now, okay, now
wish I
tell
would have
me,
known before.
if you had known that was a trans woman, would you have been able to guess?
No, not really.
Damn, that's goals. Not to be trans, but to have a woman like that. Okay, I probably killed the entire stream.
I just think he grossed out Bond.
Oh well.
Hey, Gio. She said she was trans, didn't she? Or did I miss that?
Well, no, she didn't say that, but he did.
Okay. I knew one of them said it. This is your stream, Midnight. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, go right ahead.
Oh, well, I am kind of busy. Hello. I thought I changed the goddamn. Oh well. Being trans is goals. No, fuck you, Bond. You misunderstood me. Sorry, I'm doing something in the background that came up, so I'm trying to do that while also doing this.
Okay. Fair enough. You want to know something really fucking funny? While you're doing that in the background?
But
I just sat here and ate 3 pieces of pizza and drank a whole beer. And how many times did you hear my lips smack? Or did I
none.
try to talk? Yeah, or I tried to talk with my mouth full. No. Huh.
Is that a hit on me? I don't know. What are we doing?
No. It's not about you. He who hears this later will know that I'm talking about him. Mr. I eat bananas on cam and then try to talk to people.
Oh, ironic.
Hey, you said it. I did.
I mean, I just guessed.
Well, that's a good guess. You're right. Try what with my feet?
Hmm. Oh wait, hold on. Pixie is back. Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
I don't know. Did you see the video we were playing? Well, I was
No.
playing. Oh well. It was just this guy giving 5 reasons, 5 things he knew before dating a trans woman, and I liked it. I don't know about Rex and Sammy. This I think that's Sammy.
Oh no, I thought it was funny. I did.
Oh, nope. It was a good video. Why can't I? Hmm. So what are we doing now anyway? I know this is my stream, but I figured I'd ask anyway. How was your phone call? Did the wow, I can't talk. Did Super Munchkin give you your chocolate mousse or chocolate shake or
Milkshake.
whatever she was getting?
Super Munchkin got home a while ago with my chocolate shake.
Oh my
But
god, I
she was
still want it.
but she was trying to talk to me, and I was getting a phone call at the same time, so I had to jump off for a sec.
Oh.
She was actually reminding me I need to take next Wednesday off so I can drive her to camp.
I probably should put my PayPal wallet in the description, just for the fuck of it. A chocolate shake. I don't know.
That's my weak spot. I actually don't have a big sweet tooth, and I actually pass up sweets and desserts like all the time. But every now and then somebody's like, "You want a chocolate milkshake?" And I'm never gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
But I'm always gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I want a chocolate milkshake. Let's go do that. Well, I lied. That also depends on where it's from, right? Like Brahms has good milkshakes, and this place called Malcolm's has good milkshakes. But like, I wouldn't go to Sonic for a milkshake.
Hey
You know what I
Bond,
mean?
eat through the pain. Sorry, I know lactose intolerance could be a bitch. My sister has to deal with that.
I do not have to worry about that, fortunately. But still, only certain milkshakes are worth it, right? Like I'll go to Brahms for a milkshake. I'll go to Malcolm's for a milkshake. If you're like, do you want a milkshake, and you take me to Sonic, I'm gonna smack you.
You don't like Sonic?
I don't like Sonic milkshakes, especially their chocolate ones. Ew.
All this fucking talk about milkshakes makes me want. You know what? No.
That's where you go get the slushies.
I'm too broke.
Which ones were the ones you could get at 7-Eleven? Was that a slushy or was that an icy?
Ices and Slurpees, I think.
Okay.
Or Slurpee was a type of icy.
Oh.
We actually have a place here. Okay, so it was weird. We went to Oregon, and I tried to get snow cones, and snow cones don't exist up there. Like, they just don't have snow cone places there. That's fucking weird. Anyway, here we like our snow cones to the point that, like, we have this place called the Eskimo Hut.
Cool.
And yeah, it's like you can get virgin ones for kids, right? But basically, it's like snow cones for adults. It's made with like alcohol and wine coolers and all kinds of shit. You can get shots put in them, and then you can order them with no alcohol for the kids, right? But it's basically like snow cones, and they have like all these different flavors. It's crazy. It's also where I go when I need Jello shots because I don't like making them.
Fair enough.
And they will hand you a tray of them, like all individually packaged Jello shots and everything, ready to go. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I did not have to make that. Weird that you would need Jello shots, right? But company parties, I've had to bring it a couple of times.
I get it. And everybody gets hammered and dances around all stupid, and somebody's clothes falls off, and yeah, I get
Sometimes,
it.
yeah, it's a little
I've
weird.
been there. I've been there.
Yeah, it's so funny because there's a few of us that do most of the setup, and like nobody's noticed yet. But those same few of us are the same people that sneak out really early and then go grab drinks by ourselves.
Oh yeah, you're like, fuck all this noise. Let's go to the bar.
Yeah, and then like we end up at the bar, and then they have to take care of everything else. I'm like, fuck you, I set up. You can find somebody else to clean. I am gone.
Exactly. I did my part.
That's right. Got my part out of the way early. And it's so funny because people think like, oh, I'll help pick up after. I don't want to have to bring anything. I'm the opposite. I'm like, yeah, I'll bring something. But I'm getting the fuck out of there after that.
Yeah. There's a reason that's on paper plates and shit. You get that right. Just throw it away. Don't worry about it. I don't need my paper plates back. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I ever had to bring alcohol, I'd bring like something for them and then something smaller and really, really nice for me.
Oh, there you go.
So there.
You guys get Boone's Farm and Mad Dog 2020. I've got a bottle of Cristal back here, okay? This is for me. This is not for you.
Well, I guess towards the end, I was really glad. I'm really glad we don't do these huge company parties like we used to. Towards the end, I was getting kind of bitter because, like, I would always get volunteered for the big thing, right? Like, sometimes, most of the time, it was the most expensive thing, but a lot of the times, it wasn't like the most expensive thing. It was just like the biggest hassle. Right, like everybody decided that they wanted to do a pizza and root beer float thing, right? Guess who got stuck with having to bring in the ice chests and the ice cream and the root beer? Me.
Shit. Other
Yeah.
guy just had to order the pizzas, man. I mean, what the fuck? What's this noise? Yeah.
Well, somebody brought salad. Somebody else brought dessert. Somebody else. 2 people went in on the pizzas. I think the vegan girl got herself her own pizza. Like everybody did something. Other people brought like cups or utensils. But I was like, how come I have to come in here with all the heavy shit?
Yeah, exactly. Time out. What the hell is a vegan pizza? How does that happen?
You can actually have vegan bread, and there is a cheese substitute that vegans will use. Yes, I can actually cook some delicious things that are vegan now. I learned how for that coworker. I noticed that she wasn't participating in food days a lot, and so, or when she would bring something, she would only eat what she brought. So I was just like, are you vegan one day? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I will keep that in mind. Everything I bring from now on, you will be able to eat. And she looked at me all shocked, but I kept my word. I can make this amazing blueberry babka with a lemon glaze. Fantastic.
Well, that's
It's
cool.
like a blueberry twisted coffee cake with a lemon glaze, and it's really good. and I
Okay,
learned a few other recipes.
well, let me back up to the pizza for a minute. What do you use for sauce on the pizza if it's vegan? Like guacamole or whatever?
What's wrong with
I
tomato sauce?
Well, usually it's got some kind of meat in it too.
My pizza doesn't have any meat. The only part of my pizza that's not vegan is the dough and cheese.
Okay, all
Right?
right.
So
All
she would we have a place here that will do vegan pizzas, and they substitute the dough for a vegan free dough, and then they use substitute cheese instead of cheese.
All right.
They also make a white pizza, which is made with Alfredo sauce, but that's less vegan. Not, you know.
Oh, I've had that. I really like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like it. Yeah. We'd go to this place. What was it called? CC's Pizza, I think. And it was like a la carte pizza place, and they had that Alfredo pizza.
Yeah, we
Man,
have CC's here, and it's one of the few pizza places my daughter will actually eat at, and they do have that one, the white one, but they have she loves their spinach pizza.
oh yeah, I like that too. I did like that too. I got a couple pieces of that. I'd get a couple of pieces of the what do you call it, spinach, and then a couple of pieces of the Alfredo, and then a couple of the supreme pieces, and yeah, I was good to go. Shit.
They got rid of my favorite dessert though.
Well,
That upset me a little bit. The Bavarian, the Bavarian cream one.
I think I know
They
what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had these dessert pizzas. One was apple and cinnamon, and they still have it. And then they had the brownies with the powdered sugar, and they still have that. They had a fruit pizza thing that they don't have anymore that was like cream cheese and stuff. And then they had it looked like a pizza, except it was made with Bavarian cream, and it was really good. And they don't have that one anymore.
Pizza.
Now they have one that has like this frosted. It's sweet and like frosted, and then
Oh,
they have like the cinnamon roll
I've
one.
lost respect for
yeah,
Bond.
that's what I'm
He was a
mistaken
vegan
of.
for a few years, for many years. Bond, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's
I have never been a vegan. I was vegetarian for very, very many years, but I've never been a vegan.
Yeah, vegans eat like zero uh, meat of any kind.
The Jain monks put vegans to shame.
Well, a Jain, well, now you want to talk about religion again. A Jain is a weird breed of theist.
Yeah, but they also like their diet comes from the idea that like you only take what is offered, right? And so if you have to kill the plant to harvest it, then it isn't being offered, right?
Yeah,
So
it's like,
you can't have root vegetables.
right.
You can't
They're
have
like
like any of
super
that.
pacifists. Yeah, they're super pacifists.
Mm-hmm.
They won't step on
Exactly.
bugs. They won't swat flies. I heard even some of them wear like terry cloth around their face so they won't accidentally swallow a bug or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's. But you know, hey, I've heard weirder. So at least I ain't going around, killing people and shit. So
No, they take life is sacred very seriously, and they mean all life, all of it.
yeah, yeah, all of it. I think there's a brand of Buddhism that's kind of like that too.
That is Buddhism. Jain monks are Buddhist monks.
Oh, okay, so they are
It's a
part of it.
very, well, kind of.
It's
Well,
like
I wouldn't say that. I would say they're Buddhist adjacent. There we go. They're not Buddhist. They're Buddhist adjacent. So
okay.
if you look at the story of the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, he was born a prince, and his parents were told by a sage that their son was either going to grow up to be a great king or a great holy man. And they wanted to influence him to be a great king, of course, but they also didn't want him to know any like darkness, any ugliness, things like that. So they surrounded him with opulence and treasures and young and beautiful and all of these things. But he wasn't happy. So he would sneak out, and on his trips sneaking out, he runs into sick people, and he had never seen sickness before. He runs into old people, and he had never seen that before. And he runs into like all these poor people, all these things, and some of them seem really happy, and he doesn't seem happy. And so he decides riches are not the way to happiness, and he eventually ends up with the Jain monks, according to the stories. And the Jain monks consider him one of their best. They are actually really angry when he leaves, because he was supposed to be like a master of forsaking everything, just living on the bare minimum. Which is why the fat Buddha is funny. The fat image doesn't actually take on until it moves to Asia. All his original depictions, he's very thin because he was very thin in real life. But then he decides that a life of restriction is also not what leads to happiness. Then he goes, and that's when he ends up under the Bodhi tree, right? And the woman has the vision. He says, I'm not going to move from here until I attain nirvana. And the woman has the vision of a bowl of rice to a man that sustains himself on it for 40 days, and she'll know it's the Buddha because when she throws it in the river, it will float. Now I've got another call.
I thought I heard you cut. She got a beep. But yeah, I've heard most of that Buddha, the Siddhartha story before. I don't know all the details, but I know the general gist of it. Hey, Midnight,
Yes.
you still around? You still busy?
Yeah, still trying to figure this out. This fucking chat is slow as hell. It doesn't update. I'm just dealing with something. I was trying to. I know nothing about the Buddha story. Nope, nobody does. Not even you. Mm,
Did you ever see that movie with Eddie Murphy called The Golden Child?
no.
You need to watch it. Good movie. Very, very, very underrated at the time. Good movie. I think he did it after he did the first Beverly Hills Cop.
Hmm.
I think.
I'm in love with a stripper.
I've had that happen before. But like we actually dated. It wasn't like, hey baby, take my money. I'm in love with you.
I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
Oh
Then I
God.
saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of Jesus in my mind. Yes, Bond. I've been busy ever since I played that video. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it translates as, Sam? One who is awake? Okay. One who is woke.
You're woke. Ugh. Oh, Pixie's back. Sorry, I didn't notice. By the way, Clockwork, I'm getting an echo from you.
You're getting an echo from me when I'm not saying anything.
Yes. And now it's gone. I don't know. I was getting an echo before Pixie came in, but whatever. It's fine.
No, I heard it as I came in, but you're right, it's gone now.
Well, I mean, I got up and went to the bathroom. Maybe you heard me taking a leak. I don't know.
No, it
Nope,
wasn't.
it was an
We
echo.
didn't hear you. We heard like we heard what Midnight say previously said. I heard it said again. Like,
Oh, okay. Oh, have any of you had a pizza with anchovies on
No.
no.
But if you're buying, I'll have one.
it? Well, we were talking about CC's Pizza earlier, and they had a specialty pizza that they made and had anchovies in it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll try a slice." No, don't ever try a slice. Anchovies are like little bits of salty rubber. You can't chew them up. At least I
You're
couldn't.
rubber.
Are they?
Probably.
See, I don't like rubbery things. I think that's why I have like I don't like to order scallops or
Oh yeah.
calamari unless I know the chef. Right, because I've had some amazing moss scallops, which is a type of recipe. It's really good. It's not actually moss. They serve it in a mushroom sauce. And then I've had wonderful calamari. But then like I'll go somewhere else and I'll order it and I'll be like, ooh, and then no, it comes out a rubbery mess. And I'm like, fuck this bullshit.
Yeah, it's like chewing rubber bands. Yeah. Like no. Uh-uh.
Rattlesnakes the same way. It's really easy to I mean, if you even slightly overcook it, it's a rubbery mess.
Yep. A lot of bones too.
Yeah.
Just say.
Which means don't ever let me cook those things because I have the habit of overcooking almost everything because I prefer most of my food slightly overcooked.
Oh, better to have it overcooked than undercooked, because undercooked will make you sick quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't ever get me to cook scallops or anything that shouldn't be overcooked because I will fuck it up.
Well, what put me off of octopus and squid and shit like that was when I saw a dude in Japan eat a live one. He ate a live octopus.
Oh yeah, people do that. People definitely do that. I do not ever want to do that to any living thing.
He ate a live octopus. That's
Yep. And they
A
give you
live-
baby ones. They give you live little baby live octopuses. They're like
Yeah, this
yeah.
doesn't the octopus scream?
They like laugh.
No,
If
they-
you have to be careful because if you hesitate or you take too long or you go at your face the wrong way, they'll like grab onto you and stuff.
Yep. This one was like a smallish white one with like, it had some black on it, but it was a small white one. It wasn't like a huge octopus, but dude popped it in his mouth and nom nom nom, it was gone. I was like, you motherfucker. That's disgusting. Says the guy who took a special trip to Scotland to have authentic haggis.
I
Which
also do
one?
not ever want that. No,
Oh,
no
it was-
haggis, no blood sausage, none of that
Oh,
Vietnamese deer blood soup. Fuck all that.
Nah. Well, I had just never had haggis, like real haggis before, and I wanted to try it. So I was over in England, so I just crossed the border. Well, not really crossing the border because it's all the UK. Into Scotland and found a restaurant and got them to give me a couple of slices, and then I got to give me a couple more
Well, I mean,
slices.
you
I
still
liked it.
cross the border then.
Well, from whatever to Scotland, but it's all the UK. It's not like it's a different country. It's like crossing the border between Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're still crossing a state border. State borders exist, you know.
Well, you're.
And I'm hungry.
I'm not after that haggis talk. Fuck that nonsense.
No. That wasn't that wasn't what made me hungry. Talks of pizza, milkshakes, and all that made me hungry. But I'm poor. Anyway.
What you need to do? Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was talking to myself about work and being frustrated. I didn't realize I was not muted yet.
Yeah. Just get you a shitload of pot pie sparkle, like turkey and chicken and beef. But
Yeah,
Carol, like, don't have a microwave?
No, I can't really afford it right now.
Well, the ones I get are like $1.50 a piece. They're not like the great big deluxe ones that you got to put in the oven and shit.
I don't know. Some of my favorite things to cook are like the most inexpensive things.
Oh yeah, rice and beans. That's the shit. Like, yeah.
Black beans
Some
and
rice.
rice.
Yeah, some rice and some beans and a little bit of butter mixed in there with it. good to go.
Yep, I love black beans and rice. Or if you take like rice and cream of mushroom and cream of chicken,
Oh
you
yeah,
can make an
that's good.
awesome tuna and some cheese. You can make an awesome tuna casserole. Oddly enough, just random little recipes that are like, or dumplings. Dumplings is really cheap. You just need you don't even have to have chicken. You can just have broth, and then
Yeah, the chicken broth.
yeah, and then it's just dough and milk, and salt and pepper.
Yep. I watched my granny do it. She made it look like a magic trick. She was like, "Watch this." Boom. Chicken dumplings.
Yep. I don't know. Lots of just super simple. Or Super Munchkin's favorite is just a pasta recipe. It's I'll make farfalle noodles. You know, the bow tie noodles. And
Oh yeah.
then and then I'll cut up like orange bell pepper, squash, and broccoli, and I'll just stir fry it with some butter. And then I mix it all together with some Alfredo sauce, and she loves the hell out of that stuff.
Can I hire somebody to come cook for me? Let's see. I do have some pasta.
Oh, I've got a whole industrial sized box full of ramen noodles that I've had for a long time, and they're still good. So
I would buy a box. Super Munchkin has a box of the creamy chicken ones. I would buy a box, but I never can find it in the one flavor I actually like.
oh, see, I don't even use the flavor packets. Those are mostly salt.
Yeah.
99.9% of that packet. Yeah.
I don't use the full flavor packet. And as a matter of fact, I don't even see, but that's because I eat them weird. You have to understand that about me. I do use the flavor packet, half of the flavor packet, but I only flavor the water because the water gets dumped out. I don't eat it as a soup. Like I literally get rid of all the water and broth, and then I just eat the noodles.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do that. I'll take butter and the noodle part and crumble it up and put it in a bowl. I'll put it in a pot and let it boil up and, do its thing. And then I'll drain the water off of it and put it in the bowl. And then I'll take like a quarter or maybe a half of that flavor packet and sprinkle it on top and mix it up. And that's how.
I just do like a half of the packet in the water, but then I drain the water. So whatever sticks to the noodles is fine, but everything else is gone. And then, if you fry an egg and cut that up and put it in with the noodles, actually pretty good.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, now I like my eggs boiled or over easy with toast and bacon.
I usually prefer mine scrambled, but occasionally, like in the noodles or something, I can do a fried egg.
Yeah, okay. Well, see, sometimes I'll try to do an over easy egg, and it ends up just being scrambled because fuck it, it decided to break.
My dad used to make bullseyes a lot.
Oh, were those the sunny side ups? Yeah.
No,
40.
bullseye. I guess other people called them egg in the holes. My dad always called them bullseye. It's like you're almost going to, and sometimes he'd make it with just bread, but sometimes he would make it like French toast. But it was just like a piece of bread, and he cut a hole out of the middle of the bread, and then he'd drop an egg in it, like crack an egg open in it, right? And so you were like frying an egg, but it would attach to the bread. And it was called a bullseye or an egg in the hole. Sometimes he would do it like that, and sometimes he would make like the French toast batter stuff, and he would take the bread and make a hole in it, and sometimes he'd dip it in the batter before he put it in the pan and cracked a hole in the middle of it. But more often than not, it was just regular bread. He'd just make a hole, put it in the pan, and then crack an egg open in it. And when you flip it, you flip the bread with it, so it like keeps everything more intact.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Did he use Wonder Bread or did he get the good bread?
What's the difference?
Whatever bread we had. I guess when I was younger, it was probably Mrs. Baird's. And then when I got older, I think it was the honey wheat bread. So probably like Nature's something.
Nature's Own. That's what I get the
Yeah.
butter bread. The butter bread. I like that pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
When we started talking about bread, it reminded me of an Eddie Murphy thing that he had on one of his specials, and he was like, "This ain't McDonald's. This is a Greaseburger on Wonder Bread."
Wonder Bread. I did have Wonder Bread once in my life, and I was pretty young. I remember that, and I convinced my godmother to get it for me because it was rainbow. It was a rainbow loaf. It was like a tie-dye rainbow loaf of bread. I remember that.
Wonder Bread's only good if you toast it. If you try to eat it just straight out of the thing, it's not that great.
I don't know. I was a kid. I was definitely more interested in the bright colors. Looking back, not a great idea.
Did you play with Rainbow Bright when you were a kid?
I did not.
Okay. My sister did. She used to watch that cartoon all the time, too.
I did like glowy things, though. I loved glowy things.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, their noses used to light up and shit like that. Their tails.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm. And then, like I had a little bedtime buddy, and when you hugged it, it would glow, but it was a worm. It was actually a glowworm.
I remember that. I remember the commercial for that.
Yeah, I had a
like
glowworm, and my sister had a glowworm, and then I don't know. I had my big sister got a bear. I think it was a teddy rugby or something, and I had a big bird. You would put like tapes in them, and they would read stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I used to put kiss tapes in my sister's Teddy Ruxpin just to see what would happen.
There's an interesting article I just posted in in the private chat about psypost.org. Psychologists have identified a pervasive illusion that has existed for at least 70 years, but as someone pointed out, the illusion has existed as long as people have been around. Let's see. A series of studies has found that people believe morality has declined over time, regardless of the decade or country they were in, and that they tend to think the decline started around the time they were born. The findings published in Nature suggest there is a pervasive illusion of moral decline that is a result, at least in part, of two common psychological biases. My whole life, I've heard people probably just screenshot this.
Yeah, that might help.
I'm also cooking pasta, so I gotta go check that soon. Okay, here it is. Can you see it?
There it is.
Okay. A series of studies has found that people tend to believe morality has declined over time, regardless of the decade or country they were in, and that they tend to think the decline started around the time they were born. The findings published in Nature suggest there is a pervasive illusion of moral decline that is the result, at least in part, of two common psychological biases. My whole life, I've heard people claim that humans are less good to each other than they used to be. When I was a kid, you could leave your door unlocked, that sort of thing. Explained the study author Adam Mastroianni or whatever, an experimental psychologist and the author of the science blog Experimental History. If people are right about that, it's the story of the century. Every scientist should stop what they're doing and figure out how to restore morality. But if people are wrong, we have another interesting question on our hands. Why do people think this has happened when it actually hasn't? To gather initial data regarding the perception of moral decline, the researchers performed keyword term searches in the Roper Center for Public Opinion iPod database and manually searched databases such as the General Social Survey, Pew Research Center, Gallup, the American National Election Studies, the World Values Survey, the European Social Survey, and the European Values Survey. The goal was to locate survey items that asked participants about their perceptions of changes of morality over time. Uh, across the 177 survey items identified, 84.18% of participants in the United States reported that morality had declined. Importantly, this perception remained consistent over the 70-year span from 1949 to 2019, indicating that U.S. residents have been reporting moral decline at the same rate throughout this period. This finding suggests that the belief in moral decline is not a recent phenomenon, but has been a long-standing perception. Interestingly, participants were also likely to perceive moral decline when asked about longer periods of time, e.g., the last few years, the last few decades, compared to shorter periods, e.g., the last year. Uh, the perception of moral decline was not unique to U.S. residents. Analysis of survey items from 59 nations involving a total of 354,120 participants showed that on 86.29% of the items, the majority of participants also reported that morality had declined. This finding indicates that people across the world share a belief in the decline of morality. In a series of three additional studies, the researchers asked U.S. participants to rate how kind, honest, nice, and good people were in the present day compared to the past. The participants, 1,230 in total, were recruited through Prolific and Amazon Mechanical Turk. All three studies found a similar pattern of results. Participants perceived a moral decline in people over time. For example, participants rated people as less kind, honest, nice, and good in 2020 compared to 2010 and 2000. Older participants received more decline than younger participants. However, when considering the annual rate of moral decline, it was found that older participants did not perceive a higher rate compared to younger participants. The researchers found that the perception of greater moral decline among older participants was primarily due to longer to, con- considering longer periods of time. Older and younger people seem to perceive about the same amount of decline. Mastroianni said. Does anyone else want to take over reading?
Time out. Just time out. Sparkle, go make sure your noodles haven't boiled over yet.
Oh, yeah.
That shit happens to me all the time. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. I just forget. I'm like, what's that noise? It's my goddamn noodles boiling over. Holy shit.
Well, the sauce certainly blew up because I was heating
Oh,
it.
man.
I was heating it too high. It did a massive splash, so that was nice.
Well, you know. Well, and if you really want to talk about this morals thing, I look at it like music. Okay, every older generation thinks the new music is shitty and getting worse than their music was, and it's the same thing with morals. They think their morals are superior, and everybody that's come after them is just pissing all over what morality is.
Yep.
Well, we got in this discussion last night about what is moral and what is ethical, and apparently there's a difference there.
Yes, there is.
Oh, were you there? Were you there midnight? I think you were.
Maybe a little bit. Okay. I turned down the sauce because it was getting a little too, crazy. The water still has to boil. It's getting there.
Okay.
But yeah.
I slow cook everything. I don't try to. You know how they flash uh, fry them turkeys like at Thanksgiving and shit?
Yep.
I've never tried that shit.
Okay. Note to self: don't don't cook don't cook the sauce on high.
Yeah, put it on about 3 if you're doing it on the stove top. Yeah,
That's
about
what I
3
should
for
have
the
done.
about 3 for the sauce and 2 for the noodles, and you should be good. Which my stove is older, so I have to make
Ugh.
adjustments. Yeah.
Okay, in another study of 319 U.S. residents, the researchers found evidence that people attributed the moral decline to both the decreasing morality of individuals over time and the decreasing morality of successive generations. The researchers then analyzed data from surveys conducted over a 55-year period that had asked participants to report on various aspects of current morality. The results indicated that people's assessments of the current morality of their contemporaries did not change significantly over time. The year in which the survey was conducted explained less than 1% of the variance in responses, suggesting that any changes in reported morality were negligent at best. In other words, there was no evidence that morality was actually in decline. Mastroianni also noted that a study published last year, which analyzed 511 studies, excuse me, 511 studies conducted over the course of 61 years, found evidence that cooperative behavior had actually increased over time. Interesting. There's a study that we didn't have space for in the main text, but that answers the question in a different way. Social scientists have for decades brought people into the lab and asked them to play various economic games. Basically, they can choose to be greedy and make more money, or they can choose to be generous and make less money.
Wait, I know this one. And this one was Does Money Make You Mean?
I don't know. Just play Monopoly with a couple of different people.
Well, no, what they
Find
did
out.
was they gave certain people advantages and certain people disadvantages, and and it was weird. The pattern tended to show that the people who were struggling with you were the people more likely to cut you a break.
Hmm.
And that the more money you had, the more the more paranoid you were of other people, like them asking for help was trying to take advantage of you, right? Or the more I don't know, but the conclusion was the conclusion was something like up to a certain point money doesn't have an effect, but after a certain point that it makes you more distrustful and more antisocial, so kind of, yeah, in a
Well, no
weird way.
wonder, no wonder. Well, no wonder rich people are such assholes. They're constantly worried about being fucked over by someone else, being taken advantage of.
And about losing it and about all kinds of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they say up to a certain point, right? When it has to do with your standard of living, up to a certain point, that yeah, like it's not going to change you, and it can definitely go into making you happier. But after a certain point, there's this like weird cutoff point, and after that, they say yeah, it does influence you in a very negative way.
Previous researchers have found that cooperation rates in these games actually increased about 10%, 10% points from 1956 to 2017. When we asked participants to estimate that change and paid them a bonus for getting it right, they thought that cooperation had fallen by about 10% points. Weird. The authors proposed a mechanism called the biased exposure and memory (BEAM) to explain why people perceived moral decline despite evidence to the contrary. This mechanism suggests that biased exposure to negative information about current morality and biased memory for positive information about past morality can create an illusion of moral decline. The tendency to focus on negative information and the selective recall of positive events from the past work together to shape people's perception of moral change. You know what? Yes. I mean, I was always skeptical about people who said, "Oh, it's the end of the world." Morality is going down. The society is degenerating, and I'm like, I mean, I kind of, I also kind of had this. I have this thought every now and then because of all the shit you see in the world. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not the shit in the world that's changed. It's how often you see it now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I've often argued that part of the reason maybe that's more prevalent now, right, is I mean, we've always had like stories from the older people back in my day, and we tend to romanticize things that we don't experience, right?
Yeah.
But it's on top of that, like it's just the ease and access to information we have. You used to, like back in the day, it would take like 4 months, 6 months to get news from England, right? Now you just turn on the TV and sensationalism sells. You get sensationalism from all over the globe. Just bam, bam, bam.
What was that movie I watched? It was about a newsroom, and they said the main number one rule is if it bleeds, it leads. I can't remember
What?
the name of that. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah,
No,
if
I
it
heard
bleeds,
you,
it
but I was
leads. Yeah.
saying, what is it? Is in what shock? That. Go ahead.
Oh, got
The
you.
gory it is, yeah, that's going to be the lead story.
Yeah.
Just watch your local news. Hell, watch national news.
It's also part of the reason we have such problem with accuracy in our news, right? Sensationalism sells, and so everyone wants to be the first to break the story. You have
Yeah,
less time to fact check that way.
yep. Doesn't matter if you're right as long as you were first.
Yep. That's yay. Nobody cares about the truth. Okay. Most people in the world believe that humans are less good to one another than they used to be, Mastroni said, but they're almost certainly wrong about that. Two psychological phenomena can combine to produce that illusion. To test this mechanism, the researchers conducted two more studies, which included 670 U.S. residents in total. They found that when participants were asked to rate the moral change among people in their personal worlds rather than people in general, they tended to report moral improvement over time, suggesting a reversal of the illusion of moral decline. I'm going to read that again. To test this mechanism, the researchers conducted two more studies, which included 670 U.S. residents in total. They found that when participants were asked to rate the moral change among people in their personal worlds rather than people in general, they tended to report moral improvement over time, suggesting a reversal of the illusion of moral decline.
So it seems to be
Interesting.
the opposite.
Yeah,
That
if
would,
they, if they rate the moral change of people in their personal worlds, like friends, family, people they they're close with. That's what I'm getting at. Pixie? Hello?
No, I'm sorry. I tuned that last part out for work.
Okay, I'll read it again. To test this mechanism, the researchers conducted 2 more studies, which included 670 U.S. residents in total. They found that when participants were asked to rate the moral change among people in their personal worlds rather than people in general, they tended to report moral improvement over time, suggesting a reversal of the illusion of moral decline.
Of course, right? Because it goes back to that sensationalism cells and what you're accessing. Right? Like not everything, nothing you have access to. All this bad that you're seeing isn't coming from people you know. Right? It's coming from the big bad world outside, and the people you know agree with you. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yep.
that distance. That distance allows you to dehumanize in a way that closeness doesn't.
But participants were asked to rate the morality of people in general in the years before they were born. They tended to perceive the moral decline in the years after their birth, but not before, supporting the idea that biased memory contributes to the illusion of moral decline. But like all research, the studies have limitations. Some of the data used were not specifically collected by studying motor decline, and some questions were not clear or precise enough. Additionally, the studies focused on the United States, which limits generalizability. The studies also couldn't determine the exact cause of the illusion of motor decline. We're limited by the archival data we have available, which only goes back to 1949 at the earliest. The study, The Illusion of Motor Decline, was authored by Adam M. Mastroni and Daniel T. Gilbert. And that's the end of that article. So, thoughts, opinions, criticisms, fuck you, everybody. I don't know. Let's see. All right, then. I guess that works.
Oh, I don't know, Cerberus. You tell me, and we'll both know.
Wait, where's Sir? Oh, there it is. Oh, I was just. Let me send him a link. I really hate when I don't talk well.
It
Yes,
happens to
Crystal.
all of us.
What was that?
I said it happens to all of us. We all get tongue tied.
Sir, I sent you a link. Now let me go check if the water was actually hot enough to cook the noodles, because I always undercook them.
Don't burn your noodles.
You know how to tell if they're done? Well,
Well,
before
I didn't. Go ahead.
before Super Munchkin learned how to tell if they were done by looking at them, I used to have to clean the cabinets every time she made noodles because I got tired of getting up to check them every 2 minutes. So I taught her, you take the noodle out of the pan, you throw the noodle at the cabinet. If it bounces off the cabinet, it is not done. If it sticks to the cabinet, it is done.
Well, I'm still boiling the water, right? It's slowly boiling, right? The sauce is.
Yeah.
I told you the sauce. I think I actually burned the sauce.
Just stir it up. It'll be all right. All the little burnt bits will get mixed up in it. You won't even taste it.
Yep. £4. I don't know.
Good Lord,
What?
how much are you planning on eating?
No. I just said £4. I just said £4. I'm not making 4 pounds of
Oh,
noodles.
okay. Okay.
Let it boil for a bit more, I guess. Sauce. Okay, I sent him the link. Let me see if he's backstage. Yes, he is. Sorry, sir, but I was checking my noodles.
I'm offended.
Okay, well, I'm offended because you're offended.
Oh.
No, it's not my cooking hour. I'm just saying what I'm doing. So, how was your day, Serb?
Oh, it was hilarious. Well, part of it
Well,
was.
what do you mean? How?
My friends IRL that watch the videos I'm in,
Yeah.
the hangouts I'm in, sent me a. I don't know if it's a short or if it's just a badly recorded video of Richard Wolff. If anyone knows who Dr. Richard Wolff is,
No. Who is he?
he's like the leading Marxian economist in at least the U.S., possibly the planet. And it's like a 4 minute video. It's like it breaks down the labor theory of value. Like
Oh
everything
God.
he says disagrees.
With Leo, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Can we watch that video
I
or?
watched. But don't force everyone to watch it if they don't want to watch it.
Well,
I can get it. 1 second. It was so precise and short. I'm tempted to actually just make a video.
I mean, I could just send it to Leo on Twitter.
I like Leo.
I know. I'm not.
I,
I'm not
I like
saying
playing with Leo.
otherwise.
Leo's one of my favorite squeakers.
Serb, I like you too, Serb.
Huh?
Oh,
I like you
there it
too.
is.
There's very few people I don't like in some fashion.
There's a
Okay, you sent me for 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I need to go back then.
I
So,
wouldn't say there's
Oh.
very few, but they're outnumbered by the people I like in some fashion.
Yeah, I
does anyone want to watch this?
got like a list of 12 people, and that's kind of the end of people I don't like for some reason.
I wonder which number I am on that.
No, the 12 people are the people that I don't like.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, let's watch this video.
Yes, let's force everyone to watch it.
Well, okay. Do you guys want to watch this video or no? Come on, we're a democracy.
I will listen to the video. I cannot watch it.
Well,
That
okay.
That's a yes if you didn't know Midnight.
Thank you. Okay. So there we go. Share. And play. Oh wait, it's muted. My bad.
This question comes to us from the Off Wolf page on rdwolf.com. That's rdwolf with two F's.com. And in particular, today's question comes to us from Noah Dunn. This question, others who have sent me similar questions, has to do with the labor theory of value, something associated particularly with Karl Marx's economics. Although if you actually study the labor theory of value, you will discover that Adam Smith and David Ricardo, usually considered the fathers of modern non-Marxian economics, were actually proponents of a labor theory of value. So associating with Marx is a bit mistaken. Even more mistaken is the dismissal of this idea because it is misunderstood. Here's what I mean. The labor theory of value is not a theory of the prices of things. The prices of things depends on what's going on among the people wanting to buy it and what's going on among the people wanting to sell it. There's a negotiation that goes on, and the price goes up and down depending on how many people are buying and selling and how urgently they want to buy or sell the particular good. Marx was never so silly or simple-minded as to suggest that the price of something being affected by buyers and sellers would necessarily be accounted for by the amount of labor that went in it. So what does the labor theory of value tell us? Well, first, notice something. It's not the labor theory of price. It's the labor theory of something else. So we have to understand what is value. And here's what Marx meant. In every society in the history of the human race, that society could only survive if it produced the goods and services without which life isn't possible. The food, the clothing, the shelter, the things we need. So in every society, you have to allocate, you have to assign the people who can do the work to make the clothing, the food, the shelter that the community needs. Somehow that has to be worked out. Maybe a chief will tell this one you make bread, this one you make shirts, and so on. Or maybe a council will, or maybe it'll happen in the market. There's lots of ways it can happen, but it has to happen. And Marx was very interested in understanding how the labor gets organized in a society. So the labor theory of value was to say, let's look at commodities, things that are produced that we all need, by focusing on the labor in them, because that will tell us something about a society. So let me conclude by focusing in on what Marx thought labor would teach us. And here's the answer. In a society, the labor that gets done to produce everything has an interesting quality. The labor that's done produces more than is given to the people, the laborers, who are doing the work. In other words, laborers always produce a surplus of goods and services beyond what they get. And the interesting question is, who gets that surplus? In slavery, the workers are slaves and the master gets it. In feudalism, the workers are serfs and the lord gets it. And in capitalism, the workers are employees and the employer gets it. The labor theory of value looks at labor because it sees in this arrangement, who produces the surplus and who gets it, a key to what's wrong with society and how it needs to be fixed. It's a completely different question for conventional economics. They're not interested in surpluses. They're not much interested in labor. They are interested in the prices of things, why they bounce up and down. Very nice. I can see their interest, but it's not my interest, because I'm trying to understand what makes a society work well or not. When do you need social change? For that, the labor theory of value is very helpful, and the theory of price of conventional economics, not so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyone here?
I'm here.
Okay. That was an interesting video.
I don't remember if you remember all the things Leo said.
Not all of them. I could probably go back to watching that stream if I really gave a shit. But what Leo said. But I think he did say. Remind me.
Well, he said things like the labor theory of value is a theory of prices.
Okay, well that's wrong, as we just saw in the video.
Well, and well, actually, this is the biggest thing, because when I asked Leo, do I go with the experts or do I go with the fringe? I didn't clarify what I considered the fringe and what experts I was talking about.
Did you do that on purpose, though?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Because after I got an answer out of him, which I never really did, I was going to reveal that the experts were going to be the Marxian economists I could find, and the fringe was going to be him.
That's funny. That was a good video, though. Definitely informational.
Yeah.
Or informative, I should say.
Does anyone know what the current considered best theory of value is?
Nope.
Subjective utility value. Usually shortened to utility value.
They missed an opportunity to call it SUV. Subjective. The SUV. Wait, is that a car? You mean the car? No. Subjective utility value.
Oh, GOS. Yeah, supply and demand is usually set. It doesn't set the price. I know what you mean. Uh, it helps you once you figure out like if you can find some sort of equilibrium demand, something that's steady, and where the supply is steady, you can predict using supply and demand curves where the price will be at any given time. And as Leo would screech and make me say, on average.
Leo, I wonder what he's doing right now.
Well, I mean, prices are pretty well understood. They're not. Prices are really simple. The thing that's really, I guess there's a bunch of stuff debated in economics, but as far as like this topic's concerned, the only real thing that's debated is value, and it's not debated very much. Utility value really seems to explain everything, because all it is you know it basically states value is subjective to each individual, and what we're doing when we place value on something is we're measuring personally some amount of utility in the product or the service or whatever. And that utility could be happiness, it could be making you a sandwich, it could be whatever it is. It could be whatever utility. It doesn't have to just be making something, though. And price is how we measure it. Price is how we've always measured it under any theory of value.
Hmm. Economics. I got a shiny new
Look,
nickel. I'm going to buy me all kinds of candy. That's what I'm going to do.
the only thing I know about economics is the basics, the absolute basics. That, and when you got on the FINRA website, I wonder if they still have it. I don't know if they still have it or not. You got on the was it FINRA or SEC? Pretty sure it was FINRA. Anyway, if you got on the FINRA website, they had like these games you could play, but they had this tool that you could go in and play with. And you could like mess with the unemployment levels, or mess with inflation, or mess with like minimum wage. Like you could mess with all these things and watch it, like how it would affect the economy and things like that. And that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Well, did they have the paradox of minimum wage chart in there? That's a great chart.
Probably, because that was one of the things that you could mess with was minimum wage.
Okay.
And then you could like start messing with all three of them or combining two of them and just like watching what happened. It was pretty cool.
Because every semester currently, at the beginning of every class, every semester, that's my. I always try to do something extra that might be interesting to the kids in the class that's sort of on topic. That's not really part of the curriculum. And that the first thing I do is I show the paradox of minimum wage chart, and it's basically just an X, where on one you start on the bottom going up and to the right is wages. It's wages and people's willingness to work, because we assume that as wages go up, more people would be willing to work because wages are higher.
But it's
right?
actually less people are willing to work because less people have to work. Right?
No, that's actually
okay.
It's never been found. It's always been found that when wages go up relative to prices, right? It's actually really the spending power, the buying power that does it.
Right. But if your wage gets too high without any inflation, right? Like if you're right now we've had for a while we've had stagnant wages despite inflation, right? But if you reverse those, you would have really high unemployment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a yeah, well, maybe there's a lot of things that go into it. Anyway, the other side of the chart is, as wages go up, businesses willing to hire people go down. So there's the opposite line. So it makes an X on the graph. And what you can show with that is if you make a line across on the up and down axis, the minimum wage. As you increase the wage going up the chart, you could see more people working, even though businesses' willingness to hire new people go down. And that's something economists have been wrestling with for like 60 years. Because that follows all the rules that we know, and it even sort of seems to play out in some real life cases. But it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make intuitive sense when you added that minimum wage thing.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's why I do it in the beginning of every class, because the predominant political philosophy of people going into economics is conservative, and it's the dogma. All the young people, all the young conservatives on the internet go increase wages, lower jobs. So that's why I show the chart. It's not that simple.
Well, it's not. Well, it can't be that simple because their willingness to hire people may be going down, but you still have to get the work done.
Yeah,
so
you got to get
whether
the work
you decide to hire here or you decide to hire somewhere else, you're still going to have to hire.
The explanation for when the surveys have been done to try to test this over time, the explanation that every survey comes up with is that you have wages go up, more people will work, more people start working. It starts with wages go up, so then people have more money that are already working, so they spend more money because most people that are working at the minimum wage don't save money, they just spend it, which increases demand on things that those people wouldn't have bought before, which then, even though the wages have gone up and businesses don't like to pay more money because demand's gone up, they'll still make more money hiring more people. So they hire more people, which can cause a snowball effect, which is why every time we've tried to survey the minimum wage over time, it's come back with increased employment. But it doesn't make intuitive sense. It seems to be reasonable to assume if you jack up the price that businesses have to pay, that they'll have to make cuts or they'll have to increase prices. But that's not it. What tends to be is, at least as far as it's been studied, is prices do increase, but it takes a long time for them to increase compared to how fast people get hired. So it might, if you increase the minimum wage $2, it might take 3 or 4 years for the prices to catch up with it. But the unemployment or the employment boom happens in 3 months.
Sorry, I heard everything you said,
Yeah.
but right as you finished, Super Munchkin barged in to inform me that she has locked the dogs in her room so the cat can take over the house because she's worried it might be too hot outside.
And then you have, and I'm just rambling now, but then you have the downstream from that. And the prices do finally catch up with the minimum wage. You have increased unemployment, because all those charts you see in economics or people showing economic charts is all everything else equal. So they're only looking at the couple 2 or 3 lines in the chart. So when everything isn't equal, something in the background like inflation happens. Even though the total dollar amount of the minimum wage hasn't changed, the buying power of that line is changed. So it's like moving the line down, and then you have higher unemployment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
It is weird.
I'm picturing it in my mind.
Economics
You know,
is weird. Deal with it.
Not just in the X graph you mentioned, but like I guess because I played with that tool, like in my mind while you're talking, I'm playing with the tool, but I'm also comparing it to this graph, and I'm like, wait, something's not making sense here.
Well, yeah. Well, the people that push the increased minimum wage lowers jobs, they don't ever show that chart. Because the whole discipline is like split on that chart.
Got you.
Everyone agrees that the chart follows all the rules.
They just
but
can't
half
make
the people
sense
don't
of
like
the
it.
chart.
Yeah,
Got you.
and everyone agrees that it doesn't make sense, and half the people just refuse to accept it.
Interesting. You know, you just inadvertently gave me homework.
Oh, okay.
Pixie has homework. Let's see.
Well, I mean, Sam does have a point. Okay, let's say I have grown 2 pumpkins in my garden, and you have grown, I don't know, 100 radishes in your garden. What are my 2 pumpkins worth in your radishes?
I don't know, but I'm gonna go eat and be back. The stream will still keep going,
Yeah.
obviously.
I
But
didn't catch what you said, because when you said Sam instead of Geo, it totally fucked my brain, because there's Scientist Sam and Geo Sam, and on Discord and a few other
Oh,
places I'm Sam. So,
yes,
oh,
so
okay.
No,
My
my
no.
brain is just
There's there's Sammy, who's obviously Sammy, and then there's Geo. I don't know
okay.
any Sam.
Like I said, I'll be back.
okay.
See you in a bit.
Well, okay. Say I grow 2 great big pumpkins in my garden, and Geo grows 100 radishes in his garden. How many radishes that Geo grew are my 2 pumpkins worth?
depends on who you're exchanging them with.
Geo. I just said Geo.
Yeah, but how many is he willing to trade for the pumpkin? That's how you know.
I don't know. We haven't negotiated yet.
Well, that's what you got to
See,
do.
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah. Like in economics, we could do an analysis of the average exchange between two commodities, so that we could give you the sort of the fair market price for that exchange. But that's giving you the fair market price is not giving you the value of it
Oh,
necessarily.
right.
Yeah.
That's kind of like you've seen Trading Places, right? With Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
What were they trading at the end of that movie? Was it pork bellies or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was pork bellies or coffee or something, and they just drove the 2 old guys out of the market because they knew how to run the stock market on them. And plus, no, it was oranges. It was the orange report, the orange juice report. That's what it was.
Wow.
Been a while since I saw that. Yeah. What?
Laura
What'd you
says
say?
Laura says it was orange juice.
Orange juice. Yeah. Something about frost in Florida and California, and it didn't turn out to be as bad, or some shit like that. I think. Like I said, it's been a while. Oh yeah, it was a great movie, Laura. The main reason I remember that movie is Jamie Lee Curtis boobies. It was like 2 seconds, but it was totally worth it. Oh yeah, and they caught that dude Beaks, the one that was supposed to give the uh, whoever the old guys were, the Orange Report. They fucking hijacked him and then sent him back to the jungle with a gorilla, and he was in a gorilla suit. That shit was funny as hell. That's that guy's name. One of the old guys was Don Amici, if you know who that is.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I do. I've heard it somewhere.
Have you seen Cocoon?
Yeah.
All right, he's one of the old people in the Cocoon. He was like he wasn't Wilford Brimley. He was the other guy.
Wasn't diabetes.
Wasn't diabetes. So eat your Quaker oats. Oh.
Uh,
Oh yeah, Laura.
It's for money.
Duke and Duke. That's right, Laura. And yeah, I've seen Coming to America. It was a pretty good movie too. What was that other one that had Richard Pryor and Eddie and fucking Red Harlem Nights, where they were the black gangsters? That was a good movie. Damn, I hate going all the way to the beer store and coming back with light beer. All they had though.
Wait. The
What?
beer store.
Yeah.
They only sell beer.
Well, no, they sell other stuff too, but I mean that's the only place within 15 miles that I can get beer. So I just call
Yeah,
it the beer.
they only had light beer.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of remodel next week, so they're trying to sell down their
Okay.
stock and shit, so that they ain't got to move it all out. And, yeah, all that other good crap. So I get it.
Well, I was sitting here thinking like under normal circumstances they would like. I'm not sure a business could survive under normal circumstances if they only had light beer.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I did not get Bud Light, so fuck all y'all.
Did you get one of the mini Anheuser-Busch beers?
Oh no, I got Keystone Light.
That's an Anheuser-Busch, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not. It's Coors.
Let's see. Was
Keystone.
it Natty? Maybe Natty Light's the one that's.
Yeah, Natty is Anheuser. Yeah.
Okay. I get my frat party beer mixed up.
Fair enough. That's what they had, so that's what I got. I looked all over for some kind of ice, Bush Ice or any kind of ice beer, because that's got more alcohol. Nope. We're doing the remodel. All right.
I don't remember. Is I can't even remember the name of it.
What?
I'm trying to think of the name of the beer I used to drink.
I'm a few bars.
It's a red and it's a picture of a horse on it. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Killian's.
about.
Killian's.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Is that Anheuser-Busch?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah, neither have I. I don't drink a lot of beer, but
yeah,
that was like I'm picky about beer, and that was like the cheapest beer I was willing to drink.
Oh yeah, I get that. I get that. They started getting in this stuff before they started selling down their stock. It was called Twisted Tea. It was a semi-sweet tea that had 5% alcohol per can. That shit was good. I drank that shit too fast. You want to talk about somebody blacking out and passing out? Yeah. The first time I drank some of that shit, yeah, that happened to me. Luckily, I was in the house and, no harm, no foul. But I woke up on the floor and I was like, okay.
I found out what happened.
What?
Why it hasn't been around in a while. The owner of the brewery died, and I guess he didn't have any kids or anything, so they just closed it.
Wow. That sucks. Well, shit.
But that was like a big brand. That's dumb. Like,
yeah, it was. I remember it being everywhere just about.
when I search it, I can still find it for sale. Oh, it was bought by Coors. Okay, it was bought by Coors. I want to know why I haven't seen it for forever. Maybe Coors just doesn't like to distribute it.
Oh, Coors is only the distributor? Let me see where.
No, well, it looks like Coors bought it.
Oh, they bought the Gillians?
Yeah. Or, they bought the name. I guess I haven't had it in like a long time. I don't know if they like maybe changed the recipe or anything, but
Well, I mean, if they own it now, they can do whatever the hell they want to with it. So, But yeah, it's called Twisted Tea, Bon. And the upside is it's not carbonated like beer is. It doesn't have the fizz and shit in it. I guess maybe that's why I drank it faster. But yeah, it's a tea that's not really sweet and not really bitter. It comes in a 12-ounce can and it's 5% alcohol. Good stuff.
You know what?
Hmm?
We usually have some drinks for the 4th of July. Maybe I'll just buy a keg of Killian's.
Hey, there you go.
So I might need 2. Oh. How many beers is in a keg?
Oh fuck, I don't know. Depends on the size of the beer you get out of it. I watched a guy. We were at a party after we all graduated from high school, and we may or may not have done some hallucinogens before we got to the party. Anyway, guy pulled up a lawn chair, sat right next to the keg, and drank 100 of those red cups out of the keg. 100 beers. I talked to him the next day. I was like, "How you feel, man?" He's like, not too good." I'm like, "Yeah, probably not."
Oh, Gio says
So
160.
so how big is the keg? Like a half barrel, like the 15.5 gallon one?
Yeah, it's
The full
Leo
size
says.
keg is a half. That's about 124 pints.
Okay. Cans. So I would need 2. I'd probably.
Oh, I
I'll
had a
need
guy. Well, I had a guy hand me a Coors Light once, and I popped it open and took a swig, and I was like, "What'd you hand me a can of water for?" If I wanted water, there's a sink right there. But yeah, I don't even know what kind of beer the guy was drinking out of the keg. Hell, it could have been Budweiser. I don't know. It was some rich kid's party. So, whatever beer they got. I only drank like 2. I wasn't big on beer back then.
I'm still not. There was only one I was half okay with, and I still didn't even finish it. I'd rather have liquor or a mixed drink,
have you ever
old
tried?
fashioned, not old fashions are good, but I meant to say old Manhattan. I like old Manhattans a lot.
Have you ever tried a sour instead of a bitter?
My favorite one, believe it or not, the one that I found tolerable was actually a dark ale. I think it was Hollander Oktoberfest.
Oh man, the Oktoberfest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The recipes for the different brands for Oktoberfest. I think those are the best.
Yeah, well,
it almost doesn't matter what brand it is.
It was made by Paulaner, Paulpener or something like that. Paulaner.
Yeah, when I don't drink much beer anymore, but when Leinenkugel's has their Oktoberfest beer out, I buy a bunch of it.
Well, you know what I drank when I was in Europe that really fucked me up, other than absinthe, because we won't talk about that right now.
Sorry, it was Aner, Paulaner. And continue.
Paulaner.
Paulaner, Paulaner. Paulaner, and then it was Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
And that is the one that I kind of liked out of all of them. That was the one I found most tolerable.
Well, when I was in Europe, I actually drank a flagon, is what they called it, of actual mead. Man, when I got done with that, shoo, they almost had to carry me out of the place. Mead is honey beer. It's made with honey.
I probably don't need
No.
any of that.
No, no. Mead is honey wine, not honey beer.
Well, close enough.
Yeah. Honey beer is different, and honey beer. If you like mead, you will like honey beer.
Okay. Well, now, what is the difference between ale and beer? Is ale just served hot?
Well,
Is that the only difference?
no, there's not really a difference anymore. It used to be that ale didn't have hops,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but now almost all beers have hops, unless it specifically says it doesn't. And some of them are just called ale because they used to be ales, and then they just added hops to the recipe because everyone started expecting hops in their beer.
Okay.
I don't know. I know everybody around me was drinking stuff like Fat Tire and Blue Moon.
I like Blue Moon.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
I like Blue Moon with fish.
I don't remember what else they were drinking. But I like the Pollender Oktoberfest was okay.
They were drinking PBR and they put it in Blue Moon cans. That's what they were drinking.
There's something I haven't seen. I haven't seen people drink Pabst Blue Ribbon in a long time.
I haven't even seen it in the store in a long ass time. But now we were talking about alcoholics earlier, either on this stream or on Wheel Stream. And the people who come in and buy 3 Steel Reserves and run to their car, those are alcoholics. I have never, ever drank a Steel Reserve and would not. I just smelled of one once and I was like, no, hard pass. Steel Reserve is like a step below PBR.
I was gonna say I don't know what either of those are.
Pabst Blue Ribbon
is a beer.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it or heard it somewhere. It's like
Maybe.
It's been around.
I've heard people say PBR, but like I didn't know what it meant. Like it's just some beer to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just one of those beers that's literally been around forever.
Yeah. It won a blue ribbon apparently back 900 years ago, and now they're still milking that shit. So, yeah. But yeah, Steel Reserve comes in like, what, 16-ounce can? 20-ounce can, maybe? And yeah, it's awful. It is fucking awful. You thought horse piss.
I don't know. If I'm going to the store for alcohol, like, I'm probably grabbing some, I don't know, some bourbon, some vermouth and bitters. If other people are coming, probably stuff to make like vodka cherry sours. Like I'm not just, I don't know, maybe some rum. So like I'm not going in for any beer. Occasionally, if I'm doing something fancy, I'll go in for some wine. Like, I've never been like, you know what's a good thing? Beer. I want to go buy beer. Like, I've never done that. Not once. I bought it for other people that were, like, going to be visiting, but I've never just independently been like, I'm going to go buy some beer.
Really?
Not once.
I don't think I've ever just been like, hey, I want to go buy beer just to have beer. I have like had a steak, like a really good steak or like a really good fish, and I've been like, I really want this beer with that, and then I go get it. But I'm not just drinking the beer for the beer. I'm trying to make it part of the meal.
I've never done that either. I've done that with wine. I've been like, ooh, I want that wine with this, right? But I've never, not beer. No.
Well, now if I'm hankering for something that's not beer, they do sell the Fireball, like the 8-packs of the mini Fireball bottles, and I'll put half of one of those little bottles in my coffee in the morning.
Nice. If
It
any of
actually
you
tastes
run,
pretty good.
if any of you run into a vodka called Trademark, let me know. If you just
The
see it,
last,
if you just happen to see it, let me know.
okay. Well, sometimes I do go to the liquor store and they've got this dill pickled flavored vodka. I love that shit. Too much,
Well,
probably.
Trademark is really interesting. So I wouldn't say I know him very well. My older sister knows him way better than I know him. I just kind of know him because I grew up in the same area, kind of like a lot of, well, I grew up moving around, but the place I spent most was in the town he's from.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, his family had a farm. His name is Trey Nichols. And anyway, when my dad was in landscape, helping his friend with the landscape business, they would go out to the Nichols farm and they would help them do stuff. And anyway, we just kind of grew up around him. So one day, my mom sends me a video in my email, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I click on this video, and there's Trey Nichols being interviewed by I don't even know who, and talking about this vodka, and they're like, so it's made out of black-eyed peas, and he's like, yeah. And they keep talking, and she's like, what made you want to do this? And he's like, I don't know. This was happening, and this was happening, and I was going through a divorce, and I was just like, fuck it, let's make some vodka. And I was like, holy shit, that is totally Trey Nichols. And then that New Year's Eve, my sister had sent me this post that said, have you had your black-eyed peas yet? And it had a vodka bottle on it, and it said Trademark. Then come to find out, he was being like distributed locally around, I can't remember if it was the Dallas area or the Austin area, but he was talking about plans of expanding, and I just haven't bothered looking it up. So if anybody runs into a vodka called Trademark, let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a couple of places in Virginia that does that. They'll brew a specific kind of liquor, and then get a license, and the ABC stores will carry it until it's gone. They'll make bourbon or scotch or, vodka or, just whatever. They can even get away with making something that's almost moonshine. Almost. Almost. It can't be like 120 proof. You can't like pour it in your car and your car will crank up and run on the shit.
No, I mean, he went and bought a distillery and everything, so.
Oh yeah, there's one right down the road from here. Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now, but like, I just thought that was funny. Have you had your black-eyed peas yet?
Well, I used to know this old school farmer before he died, and he would actually make corn mash, like the precursor to making moonshine, and he would put it in his tractors, and it would run his tractors. You make the corn mash first, then you build the still. We won't get into how that works, but then you add whatever kind of flavor you want to, like strawberries or peaches or blackberries or bananas or whatever, and then you brew up your moonshine, and it's corn mash and whatever kind of fruit you put in there to give it the flavor. I know, I've watched it done, so don't even. I've been there, seen it, done it. Man, that shit. That when you get the first, you get the head off of the moonshine first. You don't want to drink that. That'll kill you. But that second, like quart, man, that's some of the best shit you'd ever want to drink.
I've
Hell,
had
I
some
mean,
really good moonshine.
oh yeah, up here, hey, I can just make a call. Hello, hey, you got some? Yeah, okay.
I mean, the blueberry moonshine was good. But the really good one was like there was a pineapple and orange moonshine that was really good, and then one that they was like a cinnamon apple pie moonshine. That one was really good.
Oh yeah, I knew a guy that made
Oh,
some of
so
that.
good.
That is good shit. Yes,
Mm.
I had a guy that took a. Well, I knew a guy. I didn't have a guy. I knew a guy that took a bunch of mint and used that to make moonshine. That was actually pretty goddamn good.
I'm not big on mint.
Well,
Away from
it was
that.
pretty damn good. So, and it wasn't like peppermint flavored or spearmint flavored. It was like mint. He picked it.
Well, I'm trying to remember what the other fruit was. It was orange, pineapple, and I think it was banana. Orange, pineapple, and banana. And it was pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that cinnamon apple pie shit. Yeah, I had some. Oh man. Yeah, that's you. Yeah,
And I haven't had any yet, but my little sister loves peanut butter whiskey.
I've heard of that. I have not had any of that.
I haven't either, but she loves that stuff. I mostly just smoke my green stuff, you know.
Oh, me too. See, I found out at the beginning of this year that on July the 1st, the tobacco shops can't sell pot anymore in my state, in the state of Virginia. So now you got to go to a dispensary and get it. And you know all that does? Makes it 3 times more expensive. That's all it does.
Oh, did
But
he
yeah,
change the name? I'm going to look it up. He may have changed the name of it. But if you can get it in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that is crazy, Bond. Sorry.
oh no, that's fine. What was you gonna say, Bond?
That there's in the Fort Worth area, there's a vodka made from black eyed peas, but it's not called Trademark. It's called Black Eye. But he probably could have changed the name because this was when the interview I saw was, like I said, it was a few years back, and it was when he was just buying like the distillery and just started getting going.
Oh
I
sure.
don't even know that he had a label yet.
Hello.
Okay. Okay, Bond. What were you gonna say about pot?
I noticed Laura. I noticed Laura commenting in here.
Where's Bond at?
I don't know. He keeps getting talked over.
Bond
I mean,
doesn't
there
get
is no
one.
Bond.
Bond is right. That's the one. I just looked it up. I looked up Trademark, and it took me straight to Black Eye Vodka. So that's the one. Nice. Thank you. Now I know where to find it.
I'm white. Wait, albino's even white.
Translucent?
Yep.
Oh, hey, Cerberus. Sorry, I got sidetracked on Bond over here. What were you gonna say about pot?
Oh, it said moving it into those dispensaries, increasing the prices, increases the state's revenue.
Oh, sure. It's all about the taxes, man. Well, as the law is written in the state of Virginia, I can grow 4 plants at my house, and that's just sunshine, dirt, and water. Well, I can get the seeds if you can find fucking seeds anywhere. Um, Dude, give me a whole fucking ragu jar full of like pot trimmings and buds and shit like that. I looked through the whole jar and found one little teeny tiny seed that wouldn't grow a goddamn sprout. The whole ragu jar. And the shit you buy at the store, it ain't got no seeds in it, which I'm not really complaining.
I actually found some. They don't like it when I find some. You know who's really good at finding them? My uncle. He's just lucky that way. He always seems to find them.
Well, I've got a neighbor that says he had some seeds, and it ain't really been a growing year up here. It's been too wet to grow any kind of meaningful plant up here. So I hadn't even tried this year. But the last time I went to the uh, smoke store, we'll call it the smoke store for now. Um, I found this one strain they had. They had one can of a THCA strain that was bright green, like would glow in the dark, almost like sparkle. But it is some of the best shit I've ever smoked.
I resent that.
You resemble that remark.
Well, no, I resent that and resemble it, I guess.
Uh, Well, Midnight Special, he can have it both ways.
Yes. I'm
Yes, I meant that.
extremely
I meant
special.
that. Yeah, I meant that exactly the way it sounded.
I know you meant it exactly the way it sounded. Clockwork. Or you know what? You know I'm going to call you Diet Doubting Thomas.
Doubting Thomas is from Canada. He's a
So
guy.
you.
No, I'm not. Virginia's not in Canada. They're a smart guy.
He's not from Canada. He moved to Canada.
Who? Doubting
Doubt-
Thomas?
Yeah.
Well, that makes it worse.
I know, right? He left the land of freedom. He's a betrayer.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Hmm. How fucked up it would be if you become a bitch. You know, if you were to become a traitor, if you leave your country to go move to another one. Hey, you know what? I'm going to Sweden. You traitor! Kick him out and never let him back in.
Well, Sweden was neutral until here lately. Now they want to join NATO because Russia's being all fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever Russia thought, they messed
Yeah,
up. Because
yeah,
I
they
know that
screwed
they
it.
didn't want. I know they didn't want Ukraine to join NATO, but before they invaded, Ukraine said, "Okay, my bad, we won't do that," and then they invaded anyway. And then Finland and Norway. I mean, like they're like, maybe we should look at joining now.
Yeah, Sweden. I think even the Netherlands is thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, we fucked up with Russia a while back when they invaded Crimea and took it over, and we did nothing but sit on our goddamn thumbs and go, "Oh, well, what are y'all doing over there then?" And didn't do a damn thing to help anybody.
Okay, this is where I'm lucky, and my sister's a teacher. And not only is she a teacher, she's working on her doctorates in history, and her favorite history is medieval history from the Slavic region. So the Slavic region is her favorite region. On top of that, she gets foreign exchange students. And one of the foreign exchange students happened to be from East Ukraine.
Oh.
And yes, and her mom, well, her parents are in a refugee camp right now. Last I heard, they were trying to give legal guardianship to the host family so that she didn't have to go live in the refugee camp with them. She didn't really have a home to go back to. Anyway, so listening to her talk is really interesting. And she was talking about how she was talking about how like the propaganda is just from Russia's side is just out of hand. She said they're going to do the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing to East Ukraine that they did to Crimea. And she said we watched it all happen. What happened was a bunch of new people moved in, and these new people were a bunch of Russian loyalists. And then when they got loud enough, the tanks started rolling in. And then they told the people that we're going to give you a vote between three choices: stay part of Ukraine, be a part of Russia, or stay independent. But that independent came with like a caveat of, if you're independent, we're going to come in here and take you over, kind of a thing. But when they got the ballots, right, delivered by armed Russian people, by the way, the ballots only had two options: join Russia or be independent. And those were the only two options on the ballot. Yeah.
Yes.
And she
So
said,
join Russia or join Russia. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
she said she's watching. Before she left, she was watching the same thing happen, because these reporters would come in and they would interview people and they'd be like, oh, they've been horrible to us. But she's like, what they're ignoring is like these extreme Russian loyalists are first generation families, right? These are people who have just moved in. She's like, if you talk to families like mine who have been there for 4 generations or 3 generations or 5 generations, you'll find that those people are actually Ukrainian supporters. They do not support Russia. And she said, and their region wasn't attacked for no reason. What had happened was like a lot of these first generation loyalists that have just recently moved to the region and all that don't have any roots there, started causing like a bunch of problems, causing a bunch of ruckus. They took over the airport, like all kinds of stuff. But everybody's trying to make it seem like, oh, the Eastern Ukrainians identify with the Russians and they don't like what Zelensky's doing. She said, but that's not really the case. That a lot of those loud Russian supporters they're not rooted in the region. They're like transplants.
Well, yeah, they're like infiltrators. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. She's a sweet girl, but listening to her stories was it was very sad.
Oh, I'm sure it was
She's
hard.
very worried about her mom.
Sure. Hell, I would be too if my family was in some place like that. So. Wait, when did Headless Chicken get in here?
I've always been here.
Yep.
God damn it! I just didn't notice. Okay, that's my bad.
Pay attention.
That's my bad. My bad. I gotta go to the bathroom, man. I'll be back in a minute.
Thanks for announcing that. Wash your hands. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I figured I had a stream after Will's. William Freeman. That's nearly 3 hours, but you know.
So you spent 3 hours on the internet, and now you're doing this.
He's keeping me company while I work, which helps my sanity.
Well, that too. Yes, and I cooked.
Oh, and you cooked.
Yes. You know what? Tonight I really gotta remember to take the chicken out from the freezer. I wanted to make chicken today, but I forgot to take it out.
Yeah, it's called planning.
You're a plan.
Then the next thing you got to do is called follow through, which is actually cook the chicken once it's thawed out.
Yes. Otherwise, I might as well throw it away.
Yeah.
Chickens. This stream is going downhill. Actually, no, it's always been kind of meh. I mean, for fuck's sake, I only have 2 watchers, and I'm one of them.
Yeah. Why you fucking up so much? This is all your fault.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I completely. No, it's always my fault. It was my fault before I was even born. Serbs. A 3-headed dog.
No, it's a dog with 3 heads.
Well, isn't that the same thing?
No.
I don't know. I think it's 3 dogs with 1 body.
Yeah. Or is it 1 dog with 3 heads?
Now you respond.
What?
I said, Stirb, have you read
we gotta
Blindsight? And then he just completely ignored me.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear you. I have. That's the one with the vampires, right?
No, is it? I haven't read it yet. I want to read it. Apparently it's supposed to be like this really, really good sci-fi book, like a First Contact sci-fi book almost, but it delves into like the philosophy of consciousness and like all these.
What book?
Blindsight.
Blindsight.
The vampire thing is like a side note.
Okay.
It's not actually. It's not. Well, I mean, it's involved in the plot, but it's not a vampire book. Is what I'm getting.
Okay. Well, I hear it's really good, and it's been recommended.
It's a little creepy.
Do you agree?
Yeah, it's good. It's a little creepy.
Okay.
Well, if it's about vampires, of course.
It's not about vampires.
Oh.
It's basically it's not going to spoil anything. The backstory to the world that's set up in the book is that vampires are real. They were rediscovered, and there's I forget if it's genetic or chemical. They found a way to sort of integrate the few vampires that are around into society, and they're put into particular positions because of how they are mentally. So it actually the whole story like takes place in space basically, and a vampire is part of the crew. It's like head of the crew that is dealing with the actual story.
Interesting.
But it is like that First Contact off-world kind of story.
So, yes and no. And the reason why it's yes and no is really the whole crux of the story.
Got you. So not First Contact, but First Encounter, maybe?
Nah, I mean, and what I'm saying is in one sense, it is First Contact. And in another sense, it's not First Contact. And if I tell you why that's the case, it ruins it, I think.
Got you. And that's where the philosophy comes in, right?
Yeah, that's where the philosophy comes in.
Okay, then I should read it. Thank you. That answered that.
And when you're done, are you going to read Draper?
No, when I'm done, Super Munchkin has convinced me I really, really need to read this book called 1,000 Splendid Suns.
Yeah.
I don't think I read that one. Have you ever read Forever War?
No.
The Forever War is pretty good. I would recommend it.
Okay, why is Chicken laughing?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook looking at memes.
Oh.
Yeah, like philosophically heavy sci-fi books are like the only books I read. So if you like that, I have a bunch of suggestions.
Well, you know, my first foray into that was probably the Ender's Game series when I was younger.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Not just Ender's Game itself, because you don't get it if you stop there. But if you go into like the series, like when you get into like Speaker of the Dead or Ender's Shadow with what happened to Bean, things like that.
Yeah, I know that the story. I haven't actually read Ender's Game. I ended up watching the movie first, and I was like, "Oh,
God,
this
no!
is like a kid's thing."
It is kind of and I read it as a kid. Is the thing. So what it is, but it is and it isn't. It's a lot darker than the movie made it out to be. So, like in what it is the government in Ender's Game, you find out the government has created like eugenics, this whole eugenics program, and they're trying to breed a specific sort of person, and everybody can only have 2 children, right? Well, Andrew, that's his real name, but Andrew is singled out. He's actually kind of bullied because he's a 3rd child. The government gave his parents permission to have a 3rd child because the oldest kid, his brother, was too psychopathic. And then the 2nd child, his sister, was far too empathetic, but they both passed all the other qualities they wanted. So they allowed his parents to have a 3rd child. Now all the children get sent to this place where their abilities get really, really tested. And those that are doing well get trained. And they go through all these things to get trained. They start playing these strategy games, these strategy war games, and going through all this stuff. We'll come to find out they're not actually playing games, they're actually fighting the war. So Ender becomes responsible for like wiping out this alien species that had previously attacked Earth.
Yeah, genocide
feels,
via RTS.
Right, he feels awful about it, right? So then you go to another book in the series, Speaker of the Dead. What happens is the queen finds a way to communicate with them, and he has this larva, the last of their kind, this all packed in this like egg, you know, like multiple packed in one. And the queen basically tells him, look, we're sorry. When we attacked you, we didn't realize that you were sentient beings. We didn't understand because you guys, you don't have this hive mind. You don't connect to each other, and we didn't know that you were conscious. And we tried to leave, but you followed us, right? And so all I ask is that you find a place where we can call home. And so that's the Speaker of the Dead, and he's looking for a place where he can let them like restart, basically, right? And then Ender's shadow, Bean, he was like this little runt, way more than brilliant. Brilliant doesn't begin to describe it because he's a product of extreme experimentation. And even though this boy is ridiculously smart and he starts out the runt that everybody makes fun of, it becomes very clear that he cannot stop growing. And because he cannot stop growing, this is the thing that will kill him. And it goes through like everything that happened to him, and it's just this weird like back and forth from negative to positive, this like polar shift. It gets really weird.
Growing in what way though? Like in size, getting taller, like is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
like taller and bigger, like he can't stop, and it's going to kill him, and he's going to die young, very young. And Ender is like his hero, but also the person that overshadowed everyone, right? That's why it's called Ender's Shadow. And that was a whole different story, but it was just this sci-fi series I got into when I was younger.
Nice.
Yeah, then there isn't. I don't really think there's really any other books like Ender's Game, so I can't really give a suggestion based off Ender's Game.
No, there's really, but I like books like that too, right? Like, and that's what I hear about this one is like it's really hard to compare it to another book.
Yeah. There's a few books out there like that. Let's see. Like 3-Body Problem, Leviathan Awakes, Forever War, Hyperion, Foundation, the ones that stand out the most.
I'll have to look into those. I got sucked into The Wheel of Time and Terry Pratchett because I read Small Gods, and then I was like, okay, more of the Discworld.
Oh, and if you don't want to read a book that is like some of those that I named are like a series, and a couple of
No,
them
I'm good with those.
you have to like read all of them. Like the three body problem, you have to read 3 books.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. If you look at my shelf, it's actually a lot of series, right? Like I have the Dark Tower series. I have the Summoning God series, or the Visitant series, which was written by a couple of archaeologists. That one's interesting.
But,
it's like
but,
half past, half present, but really interesting. Then I have like a lot of the Wheel of Time, not all of them.
Bicentennial Man and Annihilation are both really good books that sort of stand on their own.
Okay. I will look into those too.
People in here have probably at least somewhat know about Bicentennial Man because Robin Williams played in the movie. They made a movie
Yeah.
of it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when I first heard of it. Weird movie.
Yeah, but it's a
I
good
also-
movie too, I think.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
also
It's
just-
good.
I also just really like horror books. So
Well, then
like I have a lot of Stephen King and Dean Koontz.
Annihilation is kind of a horror book.
Have you read Intensity?
Intensity, no.
You should read that book.
Did they make Annihilation into a movie with Natalie Portman?
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay,
that
I've seen
movie,
that movie too.
that movie though, the movie's good, but it's really heavily abridged, like way more so than normal.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, and you said Hyperion. That fucking triggered a memory in me about the villain in the Marvel universe that is like Superman, and his name is Hyperion, and he wears red and yellow.
Oh man.
Yeah, he has heat vision, super strength, he can fly, super fast. Yeah, he's just like Superman, except his name is Hyperion, and his costume is red and yellow, and he's a villain.
Interesting. Now I have to come up with some nonfiction books. My Machiavelli one should count as 2, though. That thing's bigger than a textbook. Anyway. I try to read one nonfiction for every fiction, but I just got a list of fiction. So now I gotta make a list of nonfiction to add.
I don't read a lot of nonfiction books unless they're like about particular subjects, like economics.
Oh, I do. I read all kinds of nonfiction books.
But I
I
can't.
have a question about Hyperion Man in a minute. But from I have one called Immune, and that one's pretty cool. It's just called Immune. And then I have some psychology ones, like Why We Listen to What They Say. One's called Contagious. I have the Black Elk. I have books about Black Elk. Usually if there's a book a politician has written or had a ghostwriter for, I'll read it. I have the Lewis and Clark journals. I have just historical people books, like opposing sides.
Pixie showing off her collection.
I have the Nikola Tesla book. I have a lot of philosophy books. So I guess I have that. And then I have non-fiction, autobiographical, that one's a graphic novel, but things like Persepolis. Yeah, I don't know. So I have nonfiction too.
Yeah, I only got 2 nonfiction books that I would suggest from my field that I would suggest to anyone that wasn't specifically interested in economics, and that is Freakonomics, and a book that my work was used for, so I'm a little biased, but Debt the First 5,000 Years.
Okay.
Interesting. The first 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're biased, you're biased. What can I do?
Yeah.
What can we do?
I'm gonna promise you though, if you don't know a lot about economics and it's not a thing you're specifically into, those two books will make your brain explode.
No, what you just said to me was make sure I send my sister a copy, and not the historian sister, the other sister. Make sure I send the other sister a copy so that when I get frustrated, I call her and she explains it to my dumb ass.
Oh no, both these books are written in a way for a general audience.
Okay.
They're not written as like a textbook or anything.
Yeah, but you did just say to blow our minds anyway.
Yeah. Freakonomics more than the second one, but they should both be like, oh shit. Okay. I
will
David
add
Draper.
those to my list.
I don't know. I'm just having fun with these layouts. Just
I
making.
saw that.
Okay, here's one. I don't know why. Here's one I made in a shape of a T. I don't know. Just.
So the villain, is he a villain in like a whole different comic? And is he from the same planet?
Oh, no, it's Marvel. He exists in the Marvel universe.
Right, but
Superman.
I mean, like, is he like a is he a villain from Superman or from like a different comic in the Marvel universe?
He is a character they stole from DC that was Superman and turned him into a villain.
Oh,
I mean,
you.
that's like
Okay.
that's like saying that. What the hell's that guy's name from The Boys? You know, I'll use a better example. That's like saying Omni-Man is a fucking copy of Superman.
Who was Omni-Man?
From the comic book Invincible?
Haven't read it.
From the series.
Okay, no, look. Let me 1-to-1 this for you. You know who Hawkeye is, right, in the Marvel universe?
Yes.
Okay, you know who Green Arrow is in the DC universe?
Yes.
Same thing. One stole from the other.
I actually kind of. This is going to make a lot of people upset, but I don't care.
I'm upset. Kidding. Go ahead.
There are Marvel characters. There are Marvel characters I appreciate. However, hands down, I appreciate DC's versions better, and the reason is because DC plays more with anti-heroes than they do with heroes, and I think it makes the characters themselves better.
See, I would agree with you, but Marvel has anti-heroes, but they label them villains.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like Deadpool is not a bad guy, but he is not a hero. Right?
Well,
he's just not. And Marvel Marvel also steals characters and then completely rewrites them into something they're not, too. They do the same thing. For example, Thor. Thor is dumber than a box of fucking rocks, and look what they made him into.
No. Thor is not dumber than a box of rocks. He's dumber than a bag of hammers. If you're going to make a pun, get it right.
Okay, he's dumber than a bag of hammers. But that's the truth. He's stupid. He is stupid. And Loki tortures him because he's so stupid. He has no strategy, no cunning. He's a berserker. That's it. That's it. Any attempt to make him more than that is stealing a character and rewriting it. So I don't see that as any different.
How is
real quick, like Magneto, villain, technically correct on a bunch of things that he says.
Yes.
He's actually a freedom fighter. no
Which
one
is
thinks of him
ironic.
like that.
Yeah, freedom fighter terrorists. What's the difference?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's in a universe where they're literally trying to exterminate his people,
Yeah.
but he's the villain.
Well, I mean, Thanos wasn't wholly unsympathetic either.
Yeah.
In his
Well,
reasoning. I mean,
the
he was
movie
very
Thanos
cold
or the
logic.
comic Thanos? Because the movie Thanos, yeah, was sympathetic, at least in Infinity War, but then they made him retarded in Endgame, even though it wasn't really him, it was the
No, I just
2015
meant
version.
as cold and impersonal as his logic was, there was a reason behind it, right?
Right, but it was a shitty reason when you analyze
Okay.
it for more than 2 seconds.
I got a question here with Thanos when he has the Infinity Gauntlet. When he snaps his fingers and gets rid of 50% of all the life or people in the universe, was he also on that list of 50-50?
No.
Why?
Well, we don't know, actually. I don't think.
Oh, so really, it's a lottery. You put the glove on, snap your fingers, and it's like, oh, wow, I made it.
Yeah, he got lucky. He didn't get disintegrated.
I would assume the person holding the gauntlet is protected, right?
But don't make assumptions like that. This is the Marvel universe.
Yeah, it would have
That's
been.
true.
You know what? It would have been so fucking awesome. Or just so awesome. If after the snap, he gets all excited and he starts disappearing. Like, oh, I guess I'm going to. And and then
Well, honestly,
the
Marvel has the best anti-hero. So
Who?
it's the Punisher.
well, yeah, okay, I'll give you that one.
That man's superpower is
He's-
revenge.
Yeah, that man's superpower is being mad.
Well, I
it's
mean,
getting
that's-
revenge.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even from the opposite side, right? Like, they take characters who aren't necessarily angry at the world and still make them an anti-hero. I mean, you have, like, the Jessica whatevers that are angry at the world, but then you have, like, the Luke Cages, right? They're not angry at the world. They're genuinely sweet people. He doesn't even curse. His catchphrase is what, "Sweet Christmas" or something like that. But he's very reluctant. He's reluctant to take on anything like that, right? Like, it just happens to him.
I mean, Luke
Okay.
Cage is so powerful that that even if look, he's too powerful. Okay, he's like he's Superman living in a world of cardboard. Luke Cage is
There's
very
a
powerful.
DC character that Marvel has never stolen and probably never will. And his power is that he could take his arm off. Or both arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
that's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how is that useful?
He takes his arm off and he takes an arm off and then beats people with it like a club in a fight.
But there's technically a big superhero of DC's that Marvel's never taken.
Yeah.
And that's because it's super boring. It's
Batman?
Superman.
Oh no, they've done a Batman, rich guy with toys.
Yeah. Flies around, has armor on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of technology.
Iron Man.
Well,
But
with
it's-
Hyperion,
But however, though, he doesn't have like brooding issues about his parents dying. Yeah, his parents are dead, but they died. They weren't shot in front of him in an alleyway.
No, but
Yeah.
they were killed by the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Nobody
Well,
I'm
watched
still
it before.
disappointed in the Batman movies because every single fucking one of them play the same villains over and over and over again. And I just want to see a decent depiction of how fucked up the Scarecrow is.
I mean, yeah, the Scarecrow is very fucked up.
Right? I want to see a movie where he's the villain, the main villain, not some side note. This is bullshit. We get it. We have 500 Jokers, 500 Penguins, and 500 fucking Catwomans and Poison Ivies. Can we get a Scarecrow? Like an actual fucking Scarecrow? It's about fucking time.
So what you're saying is you want them to do a movie like they did for Joker.
For Scarecrow.
Yeah, but for Scarecrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Because the
watched
Joker
the
movie is
Joker.
awesome.
I watched it 3 times and I was still confused by the end of it.
How?
I mean, I get that he's crazy. I get that. But
No, he did it. I will give you that. Heath Ledger was a phenomenal Joker.
Yes.
no, I'm talking about the standalone movie they did with Joaquin Phoenix as
Yeah.
the Joker.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. You gotta watch
Okay,
it.
I'll watch it. But I want
No,
one
no,
for the.
no,
I
no,
want.
No,
I
I want to see a
Scarecrow
Joker
one.
movie where they finally reveal the alternate Joker origin story, and that's where Alfred realizes that Bruce Wayne as Batman needs, that sounding board of the villain. He doesn't have one, so he puts on the grease paint, the green wig, and the purple suit, and becomes the Joker.
Yeah, I saw.
He's
I
a very
saw
loyal
that.
butler. That's what he would do. To help out Bruce Wayne get over his problems here.
There's so
Ever since
many
his parents
issues with
died.
that. So if in every
I don't know.
story, if in every story that's Alfred, then what? Did Alfred become? I mean, I've seen the panel. Yeah, I've seen the page you're talking about where it shows
Yeah.
him putting on the
Yeah.
makeup, but that raises so many fucking questions about Batman.
Like, come on, Batman beat up the guy that killed his parents like years ago. Just never realized it. Alfred's got to do something about this.
There was this one episode in this show, Batman the Brave and the Bold, in season 2 called Chill of the Night, to where Batman finally confronts Joe Chill, the man who killed his parents, and it was such a good scene. I can find it and I can actually play it. Hang on. Okay, you know what? This is definitely the one I need. There we go. Excuse me for that. Present. There we go.
Joe Chill. You were the slinking coward who murdered Thomas and Martha Wayne. That was a lifetime ago. Yes, my lifetime. You took me without mercy or regret and in cold blood, Chill. How do you know this? How could you possibly? I know because I watched it happen. I know because I am the son of the man you murdered. I am Bruce Wayne. No. Oh, no. He is beaten. Let your devotion to justice temper your rage. He took your parents, ruined your life. Fulfill your destiny. Become what you have trained to be, an agent of vengeance. He knows who you are. If this man lives, Batman dies. Batman may die, but Bruce Wayne.
I just said that I love that line delivery. He knows who you are. If Batman lives.
I don't know.
I just love this scene.
I feel like this is just a knockoff of the early '90s cartoon.
I mean, kind of, I guess.
Never.
Guys, you gotta help me. Way back, I whacked a guy for a job, and now that guy's son is back for revenge. That guy's son is Batman. What's funny?
You're saying we owe Batman's existence to you? That's a killer!
So it's your fault Batman's always on our backs.
No, guys. Wait.
Oh yeah, almost forgot about you.
Why are we just watching a whole cartoon? Yeah. This version of the cartoon Batman is actually just too cartoony for me.
Yeah. I like the 90s one you're talking about.
Yeah, the one that they drew on black paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't dark enough. It was drawn on black paper.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know why they went from one style to the other, right? Because they have Batman the Animated Series, but then they have the new Batman, the Adventures of Batman and Robin with the new style, which then led to the Superman Adventures, which then led to Batman Beyond, which then led to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which was awesome, by the way. I don't know, but it's almost done, I guess.
Funny. Because I started you off as Batman. Those other mugs made me pay. Yeah. I guess you got me after all.
Fun fact: these two were voiced by Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, respectively.
Wait. So you're telling me that they got Mark Hamill, but then didn't have him do the Joker?
No, they had him be the Spectre.
Okay, I am boycotting this series on principle.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill has. Yeah, there's lots of good depictions of the Joker. Mark Hamill is the best Joker.
Yes.
He has the best Joker laugh. Everything.
So, sir, are you saying that if they were to do another Batman versus the Joker type movie, or another Joker movie, Mark Hamill should play the Joker?
Absolutely, 100%.
Batman made the right choice. Ultimately, it was karma that delivered the final blow to Joe Chill. Funny how Chill just happened to be under that crumbling ceiling when it came down.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Batman's a hoarder.
Yes, he is.
Right.
Like every wacky caper, he's collected
closed.
crap from. And there's all the fancy bat gear that he has that he's used like once, and he may use it again someday.
Hey guys.
He keeps it all
Well,
in that cave.
Hello.
I do think it's cool that he doesn't have any superpowers. So I actually appreciate that about him. On that note, though, gotta run an errand. If you're here when I get back, I will see you again. If not, I will run into you somewhere else. So later days, pretty shiny
Later
people.
days.
Batman does have a superpower.
If you're gonna save money, I'll kick you.
No, I was going to say the military-industrial complex.
Oh no, because I would say Batman. Batman actually does have a superpower, like an actual superpower. That's part of the plot. They just never say it, and that is his. It doesn't even have a name. Basically, his power is if he's allowed to prepare, he beats everything.
Yep.
That's his superpower. Doesn't matter what it is. If he can prepare, he wins.
Yeah. Preparedness.
I mean,
The Boy Scout power. There it is. The Boy Scout power.
Yeah.
I thought
that's why he's got the utility belt. That's where he puts all the stuff he's prepared to fight with.
I thought Superman was a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
people call him the Boy Scout.
Well,
I think Batman even calls him the Boy Scout.
Yeah, because he's always good. Well, until he lets loose and fights Darkseid anyway.
Which is always funny because Batman or Superman's never prepared. You know why Superman's never prepared? Because he's boring.
I mean, and yet somehow they still managed to make a series out of Superman. You know,
most of it's
one
boring.
That came after. Well, sure, but the one that came after Batman, the New Adventures.
Like if you
made like 3 seasons.
So like when they make a TV show or a movie, they like scale Superman way back. Right, but it's not that I've read the comic books, but I've had friends in the past that read the comic books, and the list of Superman's powers is basically everything.
Pretty much.
Which means he beats everyone. He's essentially a deity.
Right, but he's gone up against Darkseid and he's taking a beating a lot of the time. Although in the Justice League
No. He was feigning that. He was letting Darkseid believe he could beat Superman. Think about that for a minute.
I'm just saying, if you think back to the first time they had Superman quote unquote die, that was like a huge thing. Because Superman had been around for decades, was never beaten.
Until he met Doomsday.
Yeah.
Hey, Bond, fuck you, okay?
But I will say one thing. At least they don't treat Superman like they do Worf from Star Trek.
How do they treat Worf in Star Trek?
They don't talk about that with outsiders.
So Worf is just the big, strong warrior man, right? But have you noticed that he loses every fight?
Yes.
Yes. They do that to show the audience that the thing that they're fighting is actually a threat.
I'm sure there's better. You know what? You think they'd find better ways to show that?
No. It's the first line of defense. Release the Klingon.
Yeah.
Damn it! Beat the Klingon. Shit, we better get ready now.
Yeah. Now we have to pull out the phasers, which is just. It's actually kind of cruel. Like you could just shoot the phasers at him, but no. You always send Worf out first to get his ass kicked.
Oh my god.
That must have got to be demoralizing for Worf too.
Yeah, Worf is the red
Klingon warrior. He's supposed to live for battle and honor. It's like, I got my ass kicked every time.
Yeah, Worf is what happens when you give a red shirt plot armor.
You know what? That is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't wear a red shirt, did he?
I know, but they hide it. It's never really. I mean, it is blatant when you're sitting down watching it, thinking about it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess how you say that, you're right. He is the red shirt.
I mean,
he's the red shirt who has a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Worf seems to have done all right in Deep Space Nine. Like, he didn't get his ass beat that much. Plus, plus, he got himself a very hot chick, very hot wife, until he was killed by the cop.
But yeah, it's like he doesn't get his ass kicked that much. But that's because there's less fighting in Deep Space Nine.
Well, if you remember back to the first season of The Next Generation, Worf actually was in a red shirt
Yeah.
until Tasha Yar got killed off because she was in Playboy. That's
Wait,
why.
Is that, is that why she
killed
got killed off?
That is why Gene Roddenberry killed her character off. She
And then
posed
when
for
she-
Playboy.
wait a second, Then when she comes back as the half Romulan character,
Oh, well, he'd already died by then, and
yeah,
they
he
felt
died. I
bad.
was gonna say he died.
Yeah,
I never knew that. Like I know they killed the character, obviously, and that was fucked up. That episode, Skin of Evil, is still one of my favorites because of how, ugh, like those,
Figure they would
those
just put this in the
practical effects.
contract that if you're gonna be on the show, like no nudity.
yeah.
That's okay, because
The other
if
things.
Tasha Yar didn't die, Data probably would have ended up being a shitty character.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they set that whole thing up just to like humanize Data. I know that was like their plan. That had to be their plan.
Yeah.
Was to make Data more and more human-like because he was with what's her face.
Oh yeah, they did have sex in like the third episode. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like immediate. It was like that was going to be his arc, and then they never really had him do that arc. Right, he just stayed not human and like struggled with it the whole series.
Did you ever notice of the cat that he had that he called Spot was never the same cat every time they showed it?
Oh, I didn't notice that. No,
it goes
He-
to
he just-
they're like fucking houseplants. He can't look after cats. Stop
Yeah, he just-
giving the robot cats.
I get it. He doesn't understand. So
He's
they just keep on dying.
unimaginative with names. He calls them all Spots. So we're thinking we won't notice.
Spot, why is your Data? Why is your cat a tabby now?
I don't know. I don't know. It's always been a tabby. No, it hasn't.
I read somewhere that cats ate mice, so you didn't have to feed them.
What the? But there are no mice. There are no mice on the ship.
I read somewhere that cats love lasagna.
God damn.
Apparently that's false. But I will say this though: the one breed of cat that they never, or the one, at least the coloring that they never gave Data for a cat, and that's a tortoise shell. Because all the cats that Data had were all somewhat troublesome. But if Data had a tortoise shell, that's it. Data would lose his fucking mind.
Wait, there's a what? There's a breed of
Tortoise
cats
shells are
called-
known for having an attitude.
Yeah, but they are they cats.
Yes. It's otherwise known as a muted calico, so it's dark with white and red rather than white with black and red.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's a question: If Data survives long enough, would he be able to do the thing that the Bicentennial Man did in the movie and actually become mostly human?
Oh, I mean,
No, because that's what Data's always looking for, is to become, or always answer the question, what is to be human?
Well, I don't mean over the course of his story arc. I mean over the
No,
course.
I'm just saying so therefore he can never actually answer that question. He's always looking.
Okay.
He's always looking for the answer.
Aren't we always looking at what it means to be human as well?
Yeah.
More or less.
It is 3 hours and 40 minutes. Well, more like 8:30 or 8:25 p.m.
Yep. So, what kind of pet would have been good for Worf other than that Klingon pig dog thing they gave him?
Oh, the Targ? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a bunny.
Nah, I want something like a guinea pig or a ferret.
Sure.
Well, start with guinea pigs. You know, this is Worf for the guinea pig. And ferrets, you always got to have two, so they got a trouble buddy. Now imagine Worf running around trying to get ferrets to stop doing dumb shit.
Well, didn't Alexander have a pet tarantula in one episode?
Maybe.
They never really did much with his son, did they?
No, not really. I think it was the episode where he was jumping dimensions. He like got lost in this quantum tunnel and he kept jumping dimensions, jumping realities. I think that's the one.
You know what I think?
What was that?
I think they used the voice actors from the '90s series, if I remember correctly. Dark Knight Returns, 2-part.
I believe actually.
Old Batman.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was Kevin Conroy. No, I don't think it was.
Maybe it was. I love it. It's the only comic book I've ever read was the Dark Knight Returns comic book series from like the late '80s. I waited like 30 years for them to make it into a movie.
Yeah, that was the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that.
That was the one that basically set the tone for modern Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so Batman finally takes down a fucking huge mutant and takes over Gotham City in a sense. And the president is like, you know what, Superman, we need you to go there and knock him down a peg. Oh, that fight scene was awesome. Like, I have beaten you. I want you to know that I have beaten you. See, this is what I love about Batman, right? He could go up against anyone and just find a way to just destroy them. What was it? There was the Batman Superman. What was it? It's the one. It's the one where they find Supergirl, right? And Darkseid brainwashes her, and while they're fighting on Apocalypse, Batman is like, you know what? Let the girl go, or we'll detonate the death spores. That you know what I mean? And the Darkseid is like, you weren't there. And then Batman tells him the code, and it's like, well played. Had the Kryptonian or Amazon taken that gamble, they wouldn't have won. But you're willing to destroy your own kind to win. Man, I love that scene. The Killing Joke is awesome.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
like
That's the
that.
other correction. I did read The Killing Joke because it came out right after. It was the same type of Batman. It wasn't the goofy cartoon Batman, cartoonish Batman before that. It was the serious, like the world is all gritty and shitty Batman.
I mean, I would say that's more realistic, right? Because
no, they went past realism and onto the other side of realism.
Okay,
cartoony.
Sir, of all the animated Batmans, other than the '90s one, because we've already established that is the best one.
Yeah.
Who would be number two?
Yeah, it'd be Dark Knight Returns, the 2-part movie.
Yeah, but that's
Okay,
a movie,
that's not
not
from a
series.
series. That's a movie.
Oh, who cares?
Okay, I want from a
all the
series,
others
from a series.
I haven't seen all the other series, but the little tiny bits I've seen from all the other series, they're awful. I don't like them.
Okay, it's obvious then which is the best animated Batman.
Yeah,
and that's the Batman from Super Friends and Justice League.
Out of a race that has 10 places, all the other animated Batmans are 10th place.
Yeah. And
there's a big gap in between.
Then it goes Justice League, Super Friends, and then the 90s Batman. That's the good one on Black Paper.
Not close.
Yeah.
Batman.
Oh my god, and Super Friends. I remember I've watched Super Friends before when I was little.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so bad. I've
campy.
always hated the crossover shows and stuff.
So okay, I got a question then. When the Super Friends leave the Hall of Justice, right, in the animated series, Superman flies away, Wonder Woman flies off in her jet, Batman and Robin obviously take the Batmobile and drive down the street. Where does Aquaman go?
Fish tank.
Yeah.
Because remember, he shows up at the crimes. He shows up at whatever thing they're doing too. So how did he get there? You don't see Superman carrying him. You don't see him in the invisible jet. What was he doing? Riding in the trunk of the Batmobile?
Maybe.
Because there's no back seat to that thing,
Who remembers the shitty ass Aquaman Aqualad cartoon that was on for about a season? Back around the time of Super Friends.
I didn't watch many cartoons, and then I watched the animated series of Batman, and then I watched the X-Men from the 90s.
Oh, that was great.
And then it was then it was a few more years, and then I watched South Park and Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
The 90s.
What about Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, to me it's not bad. I just watched a couple episodes.
What about Archer? Please tell me you watched Archer.
No.
Yeah, I did watch Archer.
If you're in a Family Guy, did you ever watch the Cleveland Show?
No. But I wasn't that into Family Guy either. I watched 2 or 3 seasons of Family Guy.
Yeah.
They gave Cleveland his own show until they canceled it, and it just never lived.
He moved back to Spooner Street, okay?
Yeah, go back to Spooner Street. And they keep referencing it in Family Guy every now and then. It's like, did you have your own
Quagmire
show?
wonders why he doesn't get his own spin-off show, and then Peter has to remind him it's because you're a rapist.
Speaking of Family Guy, ever since I think it's ever since season 9, they've made Peter very, very messed up in the head. Right? There was this one cutaway years ago that shows him getting molested by a clown or something, and then then ever since season 9 they have him kind of being a low key pedophile or something. I'm just like, what the fuck?
I thought that was the crazy old guy down the street that was the pedophile.
No. I think I know what goes on here. See, the episode Peter is good in most episodes, but then as you watch the different seasons, then when you wait, and then he starts getting really crappy, and then you have a writer's strike.
Yeah, like now. Yeah.
Right?
Before
so we're just catching up on what they did before they went on strike.
Well, there was this one episode to where you actually find out that Stewie is a rape baby. I shit you not. Oh my god.
Yeah, well,
Chris,
Peter also finds a gun in a box with Chris's adoption papers.
Well, that and also Chris actually records his parents having sex. I know, creepy, but it's Family Guy, right? So he recorded the night when Stewie was conceived, and you see Peter minding his own business, and And Lois is like, "No, I will take you. Give me some of that." And he's struggling, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" No wonder he hates his wife. No wonder he treats his wife like shit. She basically raped him when What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't know, man. Family Guy's getting weird.
Then there's Meg. Poor Meg.
Oh my god, I feel sorry for Meg. She does get lucky in a few episodes too. She does get lucky. Like Jerome apparently fucks her in that episode where I think Peter and them burn his house down. At the end of the episode, oh, by the way, I had crazy sex with Meg, and he's like, I don't care about that. What the fuck?
Okay, here's a question. You meet a chick that looks like Meg but sounds like Mila Kunis. Do you have sex with her?
That would be Mila Kunis.
Well, yeah. Sure, why not? I don't know.
Well, you know, if you shut your eyes, sounds like Mila Kunis.
I have the X-Men opening theme stuck in my head now.
Dun,
Yeah. Everyone knows which one I'm talking about too. Because all the other ones are stupid.
I did that on purpose because how catchy it is. Like they knew what they were doing, those fuckers.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best openings ever.
Yeah, right.
It made me want to beat people up.
I mean, you got the muscles for it, so go ahead, go beat the people up.
Are we off air?
Not yet. I mean, I can go off air if you want.
Yeah, go off air. There's no one watching anymore.
If I ever decided to leave the internet and then expose my face to say hi to everyone, I will have to show pictures of me when I was like 13.
Anyways, let me just end the stream. Bye everybody. Thanks for showing up, even though there's like literally one person watching. Tip your waitress. Bye.